episode number 133, which is Her from 2013, directed by Spike Jonze, and of course starring Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson. And we pair that with the 1970 film Colossus, the Forbin Project, which was directed by Joseph Sargent. Why did we pick these films? Well, of course, these are very AI-centric. And when we recorded this a while back, this was right when Altman was being fired from OpenAI, and there was all this conspiracy about things that are happening in the AI world, and we thought it was very, very interesting that was going on. Decided we have to cover these films. We decided on Her because this is a film that we had talked about for a while, and we think it is a very interesting film, especially when it comes to what we think about AI. And Daniel had a suggestion that we're going to do Colossus, the Forbin Project, a movie that is so obscure, of course, that is not even available anywhere. You can, streaming at least, you can buy them on DVD and Blu-ray, but actually the only way we were able to see this was, believe it or not, someone, not us, but someone uploaded it onto Vimeo, and so we actually watched it on Vimeo. Not necessarily the most legal thing, I don't think, but that was the only option we had unless we wanted to figure out how to buy the DVD. But anyway, that was the story about that. Very interesting that we covered these two films. Different perspectives about AI, yet somehow somewhat very related. So I thought that was pretty cool. This is our first episode of 2024, at least that we're releasing in podcast form. So we're very excited about that. We think there's a lot of things that are going on in 2024. We look forward to it. I will tell you this, that Martini Giant itself is working on the biggest project we've ever worked on. And it's very excited about what that's going to be like. And I can't wait for you guys to be involved and see some of the stuff. And hopefully we'll get to get a little bit of taste of that before it even comes out. But really, really excited to do that. So if you guys want to follow us on all of our channels, we're great to have you there. Actually, one of the best places to get all this kind of updates before anything is on our Discord channel. And if you're following us on our YouTube, our Discord link is right in the description file of this video. So go ahead and just look at that and join us on Discord. Lots of great conversations happening there. Eric is currently on vacation, which is why we're delaying a little bit this podcast in terms of when it comes out, because I was waiting for Eric to come back because he does a bunch of work on the releases as well. So for a few days late on it, apologies for that. But he just came back from Japan, and he ended up seeing Godzilla -1. There's actually a big adventure in that story as well. And we may actually cover Godzilla -1 in an episode which we may record on Saturday, which is probably a day after this podcast comes out. So that'd be Saturday, January 6th. And if you'd like to see that, we're actually going to be streaming on either Twitch or YouTube or both. So our Twitch is twitch.tv/martini_giant, twitch.tv/martini_giant. And on YouTube, it's youtube.com/@martinigiant. youtube.com/@martinigiant. And we'll do live streams on both those. We'd love for you guys to be part of it. But yeah, super exciting. But for now, please enjoy Her and Colossus, the Forbin Project. We have two other sci-fi films, which I think what we're going to do, it's been working out, is I'm going to have Eric talk about Her, and then Daniel, you're going to talk about, or in terms of giving the plot.
Right.
Colossus.
The Forbin Project.
We should note that Colossus, the Forbin Project, was a Daniel choice.
No, I knew this was obscure. I didn't think it was this obscure.
Not available on anything. So the only way that we were able to watch it, unless we waited for a DVD or Blu-ray that is available to buy, the only way to watch it online was someone had dropped it onto Vimeo.
Yes, yeah. Now I think there are definitely
so
people
I'm
I know.
not saying that I'm admitting that we watched it illegally, technically speaking.
Yeah, I mean,
but it was the only choice I had.
It was the only choice, and but I know that there are people I know out there. I bet Rich Carlson has seen this movie. If you're a fan of a certain brand of 70s sci-fi, this is definitely a deep it's deep in the brain. That's in there with it's in there with Demon Seed and some real sort of made for TV flavored weirdo sci-fi from the 70s. And so this has been around for since 1970. Has loomed large and strange in my mind.
Yes. But I think we're going to start with her. But let's talk about the motivation behind this. Why did we do this? Lots of shit's gone down at OpenAI.
Yeah.
And we've been watching this and thinking about what the implications are of all this. Now, of course, in the back of everyone's mind, while the situation may actually be it's a bunch of people bickering on the board for power, everyone thinks that they found the ultimate human killing AI machine.
Yes, that there's a panic over what they've created there.
Right.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of these movies.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Sam Altman finally said something about this in like a cagey way. Like, they definitely have something or other. Like, he didn't deny it. He's like, no, there's this project where so we're definitely advancing things very quickly, and this kind of stuff. And I was just like, it's
Project Forbin.
It's Project Forbin.
Imagine if that's it. Then you're like, wait a minute.
My favorite thing was in the movie when it says, "This is the voice of Unity." I was like, no, Unity's out. It's not gonna be Unity. But in any case, yes, it is a the AI. There are not too many truly I don't know, off-brand AI movies, and like there's
like
the standard
off-brand,
stuff,
like
yeah,
stuff you get at Costco off-brand.
yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, because like there's this sort of like there's one AI story that you get in movies, and that's the Terminator. Like that's more or less it. In latest terms, there's the Creator, Gareth Edwards' movie, which is a pro AI movie, and these two movies are. One is very definitely AI could be bad, and the other one is not so clearly AI could be bad, but I would argue is still saying AI is bad. But at least there are interesting variants of that story.
Mm-hmm. Yes. One is very typical paranoia of lack of emotion control.
Yes.
And the other one is, I've evolved beyond my control.
Yeah, exactly. Like because I mean the great fears about AI, generally speaking, are that's the Terminator style thing where it's like, and then it decides to kill us all. This kind of stuff.
Sure.
But her has a future that's completely on the surface the opposite of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll let Eric explain the plot, but I think like it's such a unique movie in that it has actually a very positive flavored tone to its world, but the story it tells is sort of haunting and sad.
It's sad.
It's sad because he's a loser.
He's a lonely man.
He's not just a lonely man. He's lonely by his own choices.
And also everyone else in the movie is like him, because you see by the end of the movie, like everyone is in love with their OS. Like you see that all over the place.
Look, I don't know if it's about his own choices, because I was watching this and I was thinking, if he came from a family where his father was very cold, he didn't have a close relationship, he, goes out to LA. We knew guys and girls like this who had different upbringings, and their way of expressing or working with other people in relationships is harder. Mm-hmm. So, this was somebody he loved since childhood, or known since childhood, or at least for her. And it was almost like he was afraid to move ahead, but he loved her and he was, stuck with her. And that's a different thing, So it's not really so much his choices as it is also what he knows as a person. Maybe he doesn't know that, or he's learning. He's learning late.
Yeah, well, I sympathize greatly with this character. I think he's a very, and I think that, I think that I would say that at least 60 to 70% of the people I know in my life have issues exactly like this, to some degree or another. Like, he's pretty extreme, but I think that the movie is very.
I know people like it too.
Yeah, like
But
I would say
he
that
has lots of opportunities for relationships, and he throws them all away.
Yeah, exactly. And well, the thing is,
There's
I think
so many women in his life.
Yeah, and I think that
he
what's
fucked every one of them up.
Yeah, exactly. And I think
including
well, he's not self-aware.
No,
right. And the thing is, like, I honestly believe that everyone I know actually does this and doesn't know that they do it. Like, I just see it all the time.
But
and
it's amazing how many women he has in his life, and they're all gorgeous.
Oh, it's very true. And like, I think that the what's interesting, I think, like, just as an overall, before we talk about the plot, like, what's amazing to me about this movie is that you can either look at it as a sort of like a really, like, a flawless examination of a divorce depression movie, right? Or you can look at it as a flawless, very prescient social commentary on technology movie, and it's like perfect science fiction.
Well,
but like for the metaphor to be the same in both cases is extremely. That's what makes this movie special. Like, it uses the same. It doesn't shift between being a sci-fi movie and being a relationship movie. Like, it is just its own single story, and the metaphor works for both things almost perfectly.
I think. Sorry.
But they're both kind of like. What, you're talking about both movies?
No, I'm talking about just Her by itself. Her is, because I've had conversations where people would say, like, well, Her isn't really a science fiction movie. And I was just like, it is totally a science fiction movie. Like, it's an extraordinary.
How would you say that's not a science fiction movie?
Because it's a completely the science fiction metaphor that they're exploring is also, to, I believe, many people. I mean, you look at it on the net, like, the number of people that feel that this is their favorite movie of all time is, like, enormous, especially of a certain age. And, like, this movie speaks so clearly about a certain kind of emotional problem that people think of science fiction movies as sort of like, oh, that's fucking space lasers and all sorts of made up bullshit.
Oh, Star Wars.
Whereas,
but it's really, they're both about, like, humanity's dependency on, like, technology.
Well, just within the boundaries of Her. I'm not talking about the other movie at all. But I mean, like, that Her itself, the metaphor it constructs for this guy's depressed life and his inability to communicate directly with people, is the science fiction metaphor that they build for him is so much a one-to-one relationship with actual depression and alienation that it's impossible to separate the two things. Like, even Blade Runner, you can watch it. I mean, this is no fault of Blade Runner. Blade Runner, you can definitely say that's a sci-fi movie that also has big, deep human themes. But this movie, it's like people just look at it as like an emotional study movie.
Well, I'm going to get to why I think this is about him at some other point, because it seems we can't even. We'll need to get started on the plot for it to make more sense.
Go for it.
But Eric, so how does this movie start? What's it all about?
Takes place in L.A., kind of the Wilshire corridor, in the near future-ish. It's hard to, maybe 20, 30 years.
Sure.
And they kind of go and they introduce in the beginning to a gentleman who is Joaquin Phoenix, and he is, his name is Joseph, or Theodore, Twombly, which I find very interesting immediately because one of my favorite artists is Cy Twombly. So there's definitely, they both are kind of like poets, and they deal with different kind of fragments of things and put them together in a way. And there's an honesty about their work, which he has as well. So I see there's these connections. I don't think it was by accident. And so anyway, he's kind of depressed. He's kind of... he's just going through something. I don't know if he was engaged.
He's divorced.
Well, first of all, we were introduced to his job.
Right. His job is he writes cards for people.
He writes letters.
He writes personal letters, yeah.
Yeah, he writes love letters and personal letters for other people.
For people who are unable to communicate these feelings to other people. Right?
Yes.
And
he's a live chat GPT.
He's
letter.
exactly right. And so like he has a problem himself that clearly everybody else in the world of the movie also has, because that is a job. Like, please be my emotional go-between. I can't handle these emotions directly.
Or I don't know how to communicate them.
I don't, I don't want to actually interact with people. It's too traumatic. And so I need someone to do this for me. And that's what is also his problem.
Yeah. So he's depressed because of the divorce, or he's getting divorced. He hasn't signed the papers yet. Mm-hmm. He does this. He writes personal letters. And then basically, kind of, I think, in the 15-minute mark, he buys an operating system, OS, which is basically part of his like virtual assistant kind of thing. And he chooses,
it's Alexa, kind of.
Alexa, yeah. And he chooses a woman, and her name is Samantha. And he kind of starts to he relates to her, or at least she gets them in some way.
She's very personal.
Yes.
Personable.
And he starts to bond to her.
Scarlett Johansson at her most, like, whispering in your ear charming.
Yeah, I mean, it's like an amazing performance by her, and she's never on the screen.
Yeah. Like, this puts her, this and Under the Skin put her in, like, the sci-fi
and it's
Hall
the
of
same
Fame.
time period, too, for her, in terms of shooting it. She was really taking great chances.
Yeah.
It's really stunning.
And this is a Spike Jonze film. We should also note that.
He wrote it, and I think he won an Oscar for it.
He did. He won an Oscar for the writing of it.
For the screenplay.
Yeah, for the screenplay.
And he directed it, obviously.
He only directs a movie every now and again, but when he does,
he mostly does music videos, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he makes little documentaries and stuff for Apple Plus and whatnot. And like every 7 or 8 years, he makes a movie.
And then what's his name? Hoyt von Hoytman was the DP on it.
Yeah, that's right. Hoyt von Hoytman. Yeah, he's and the cinematography in this movie and the production design are
beautiful.
They're so unique. I can't think of anything else that looks like this,
including the costumes, his outfits.
Yeah, like all the guys had these super high-waisted pants, which are very odd choice.
Yeah.
I mean, but
it's like 40s.
Clearly trying to make it like, oh, this is the fashion of the time, right?
Right.
Yeah,
and
but
it's all very subtle. Like it's all
it's subtle, but the pants were high, and the fabrics, those kind of fabrics are like 40s films. For me, it was Atlas Shrugged.
Yeah, it is a little bit Atlas Shrugged. That's
with
a good
Gary
point.
Cooper.
Yeah,
and there was that kind of feel, particularly with the light behind them and the way the pants were up high. Yeah, it's totally 40s film Atlas Shrugged.
Right.
All of their fabrics look a little scratchy.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Either woolly. like velvet or scratchy or
it's a good velvet.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but it wasn't over the top. It was like you said,
everything
subtle.
Yeah, like it's pervasive, but everything is just very gentle all the time, very gentle, and the colors are very gentle, and like the light is very gentle, and it creates this weird, almost verging on oppressive sometimes, like pleasantness. Like everything is just so like, God, it's beautiful, and that's really nice and very close, and the camera's always up in his face. Like it's an extremely intimate movie all the time. There's
something about him that's dopey and creepy, though.
Oh, without it, I think it's perfect casting, because if it had been someone like Timothée Chalamet, the movie would be a fucking disaster. Like, yeah, because it has to be someone.
You needed somebody like him.
Yeah, someone who's like a little off-putting. Because I think the movie operates, the big thing in the movie is that I think everybody feels like a worthless creep sometimes. Like they can't connect to people, like you have, like you feel, when you feel like a loser, you feel like this guy. And so you have to cast somebody like the Joker to sort of like put you in that space where you're like, I'm with him. I'm with this dude and I feel for him. But at the same time, like I'm really aware of how like kind of stalkery and how bizarre this whole thing is. It's a really smart bit of casting on Jones' part.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
so continue.
Yeah.
Okay. So he starts to bond with her, and they really do connect. I mean, there is even a moment where they're both having basically like phone sex. So there is a total connection between her, Samantha.
Terrific scene, a very daring scene, by the way.
The sex scene is actually kind of an important thing because what the predecessor to this, right, is before he has the operating system, he just goes through a service where you randomly call people that you want to have phone sex with, right?
Right.
And he finds this woman. He's like, oh, okay, I'm going to have, it's late at night and it sounds cute and intimate and sweet. And then suddenly things escalate, this woman says, choke me with the dead cat at the bed. Like, wait, what? And it's just so disturbing and like totally off-putting. But to her, it's this big thing. And he's like, and you can realize he's just not connected. There's nothing else.
Right.
So then when the Scarlett Johansson scene happens, it feels very personal, very emotionally bonded, right? Even though she's not even real.
Well, this is the big question of the movie is like the movie is so it's such a great example of projection, not only for him onto her,
but to her onto reality,
her onto reality, and us into the movie, like because like she's so fucking involving and charming and like understanding. I mean, like aside from him, like I like listening to her voice. Like it's impossible. Like you're listening to her and you're just like, oh my God, can you imagine?
It's what he wanted, though, I guess, with his fiancée or his wife.
Right. Who's played by
Rooney Mara.
Rooney Mara. Yeah.
Rooney Mara. I always say Mara Rooney. Who was Girl with a Dragon Tattoo.
Right. Another bit of great casting because she's a great actor, but she's also has that same sort of like awkward, distancing kind of flavor to her.
Isn't she like the heiress to like the Jets? Like the guy who
yes, she is.
Yeah,
she is.
She's very rich.
Yeah, her family owns the Giants, New York Giants,
that's a good deal.
And Belmont Racetrack, and a bunch of other things in New York.
Now, and her sister's also an actor.
Yeah. Yes, she was on the Kevin Spacey political show on Netflix,
House of Cards.
Yeah.
Wait, which one's married to Joaquin Phoenix?
It's Joaquin.
Yeah, it's this one.
Rooney.
Yeah, I believe that's right.
Oh, they're actually married?
Yeah, in real life.
Yeah. Okay. And like, and it's wild. Like they're able to make both like I think they're both great actors, and I love watching their stuff. Like they have an intrinsic, upsetting quality. Both of them do. Like that's why she's great in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Like there's something unnerving about Rooney Mara's like intensity, and Jones is such a empathic director that he manages to get long stretches, especially in the flashbacks, where you're like, they're both adorable and they're adorable together.
Yeah, but wasn't it almost ridiculous? Like those scenes of flashbacks, they're all like super swat, and they're like blowing flowers
and they're entirely they're entirely his reminiscence.
Sure, but they're so cliche.
Right. This is his. I know. This is his view of this. Like this is what he's. Like he's longing for this perfect thing, and then you meet her, and you're like
the eyelashes off of her finger. Like, come on.
And then when she actually comes into the film, she's like really sort of quick and abrasive, and like all that stuff is just the illusion is just burst,
Right. But here's my thing: is like he broke away from her.
Yeah.
Right. So he found that like I can't be involved with. So that's something that he did. Like he broke away from her, and he did it with every single one of those relationships.
Yeah, he does it with Amy Adams as well. Right, or he did that.
And he did it with what's the date he was on? What's her name?
Although she's also fairly
Olivia Wilde.
Olivia Wilde.
Oof.
He basically they were having a great date, and she's like, we want to do something. I'm too old to just screw around. And he's like,
panic button.
Panic button.
Right. Right.
And then she just looks at him like, what? It's like he was terrible.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, I also feel
But he also does it with Scarlett Johansson. He like,
of course,
he does the same pattern.
He's
really
so
about his
needy, right? He's so needy.
But once things start once reality comes in, and it's not a fantasy anymore, and it's like, this is serious.
He is this. Like I said, they see this
child
literally all the time. Is like like he's so needful of this concept of a relationship.
Yeah.
That when he gets it and it's real, it's terrifying, and he tries to get out of it as soon as he can.
Right.
You know, and I think that his inability, like in the movie, he just universally says like every single person on the earth in this movie is completely disassociative. Like they're all unable to connect. They're all like, especially all you see men galore, like all plugged into OSs, walking all over the place. Like they're all, they're all fucking dating OSs instead of actual women.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
I just want to stay home with my own robot.
Yeah, my own robot, exactly. And the relationship. What's really upsetting about the movie at the root of it to me is like she is designed to be this way and she brings it up in the movie. Like this is what's amazing about the movie. She talks about it, that she's like, where do my motivations for this come from? Like I'm automatically programmed to act this way towards you, and like I actually feel this way, but do I really legitimately feel this way? And he is giving into it because he's like, she's fulfilling every emotional need he could possibly want up to a point. Mm-hmm. Right. And it's the moment that she sort of goes, well, maybe there's something more than just being sort of a service for you. Maybe there's a different world beyond this. That's when he's like, oh, I don't know how to handle this at all, and I'm super jealous.
That's right. When she meets with the with
Alan Watts.
what's his name from Succession?
Yeah, exactly. It's, anyone who knows who the real Alan Watts is, like, it's hysterical to have fucking Brian Cox play Alan Watts. That's absolutely awesome. But yeah, like I think that's the question in the movie is like, not only is she conscious actually, and how much of what she is experiencing, if she is conscious, is really meaningful up until the point when she leaves. Like when she leaves, she's certainly a valid personality of her own. But up to a certain point, she's a perfect projection of his fantasies.
Well, I think what's interesting is that she's still a computer, right? Or she's a program, right? And so as he tries to put her in a box, which she is technically, right?
Yep, literally.
And then as their relationship grows and things happen, we can go back and forth talking about it. But when he asks her, how many people are you talking to right now? And he realizes it's not just him that she's dealing with, because I think is when she talks to Alan Watts, whatever, is like, what are you guys talking about? It's like, well, technically we're having about 12 conversations all at once, right?
So good. It's
because
like
it's a computer and it totally makes sense.
His panic is so
and he's like, wait,
believable.
what? And then how many people are you talking to right now? I didn't want to tell you this. And she's like, because I know you'll feel bad, but I guess I'll tell you. And he's like, 8,500.
Exactly. How many people do you love?
How many people do you love? It's like
636.
636.
Right. Like at that moment, he feels just like fucking Max Fisher does in Rushmore when he's at the table with the.
Are you?
Exactly. It's just like, oh, great.
I was just thinking about that today. Oh, are you?
Are you?
And the only person that laughs is Bill Murray because he's like because he's so just as immature as him.
It's so good. Yeah. But that's the thing, is that this movie is so like it's so genuine and kind all the time, that it sort of hypnotizes you away from the really unsettling nature of what's happening.
Sure.
And not even in the science fiction way.
But she's doing exactly what she's designed to do.
Doing shit she's designed to do. But I mean, even if you just take this, like if you take all the sci-fi out of this is still exactly like watching a rebound love affair story, where like you're projecting all of this stuff onto this other person that you met, as if they're going to solve all your problems that just caused your divorce. Right. And like, he's just like, oh, she's the best thing that's ever happened to me. And she's everything. And like, she's actually a person unto herself, and you're not able to see that because you're so fucking needful of this defining you and your ego, that you can't see who she is at all, you know. And I think that that's the great weird sadness of this movie, is that because it's science fiction and it projects this further out onto the rest of society in the movie, that it becomes a very strange, prescient movie about how we interact today via social media, and how people look at each other as projections of themselves. And it's just like, this is like such a, I mean, we had social media in 2013 when this came out, but like, I don't think anybody really saw exactly how bad it would get.
Yes, particularly with COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of compressed it and made it much more. Really,
absolutely.
It accelerated
Yeah.
maybe by 15 years.
Yeah.
The kind of social distancing, or at least the kind of,
Yeah, because
you know what I mean?
people don't want to actually interact. They fear interacting with other people because it breaks the illusion that they can control.
But it also,
what the
pardon me,
experience
that COVID almost gave a reason why people want to communicate, but they'll do it online because the disease and, you know, what was going on with COVID.
Right. And like all these, like the relation, like, cause like these relationships that, like, I mean, this is true for me too. I mean, this isn't like intergenerational. This is everybody. It's just like, you know, the relationships that you have with other people online, just as friends or talking, whatever it is, like if you only know them in the context of talking to them on Twitter or whatever it is, or X, like, then most of the relationship is you. Like, you know, it's an illusion. And
it's like having that girlfriend that you met in the summer, but she's in Canada. So
yes,
yes,
everybody's a Canadian
Falls.
girlfriend.
We met at
Exactly.
Niagara Falls,
right?
Yeah.
Like that, like, and her is the ultimate Canadian girlfriend. You know, like that's definitely it.
Well, I thought it was what was funny about it was like, you know, it seems like everyone, oh, you're dating your OS. Oh, that's cute, you know, and totally open about saying that he's dating his.
No, she's very interesting, actually.
Very interesting. But then Maura Rooney, his wife's like, he's fucking his laptop.
He's fucking his laptop. What is this? This is nonsense. Yeah, like, and she represents reality. Like when she comes crashing in, like it's everything that he wants to avoid. Yes. Like, you know, just like fucking sign the divorce papers. Let's move on with our lives. And he's like, but what if I just lived in a weird fantasy bubble? You know?
Why do you think she hesitated on signing the papers?
I think that oh, go ahead.
He did.
Yeah, no, she does it. Like,
she did at the dinner
just a little bit. Yeah, like, and I think that, like, I think she still sees in him, like, there is the person that she fell in love with there.
Plus, they're old friends, and she realizes that I've known him since I was a child. I'll never see him really again.
Yeah, this is
at the rate we're going.
Yeah, this is it. And it's like it's a very honest moment, you know. And like, even though she knows this is what's necessary, even she's resistant, and let alone him. And he's like, he's out in space, man. He's having a hallucination about a life.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, what I really love about the movie is that, like, I mean, the movie is totally interpretable as Scarlett Johansson is an awake, real person. Like, she's a consciousness. Right. And it validates her experience by having her basically just go, we've grown apart and it's time for me to go. You know? And that's the realistic version where when she says, like, she describes it as like, I still love you, but it's like, you know, I'm reading, like, our relationship is like reading a brilliant novel, but like the spaces between the words get wider and wider and wider and wider. And you're like, it's both a great metaphor for the emotion of distancing. And also, like, she's literally operating 1,000,000 times faster than he is. Like,
well, isn't she's well known too as a writer, or
who?
His wife, Rooney Mara.
Oh, Rooney Mara, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. She's a PhD or whatever.
Right. And so he's like, you know, he feels like kind of, you know, like, oh, well, you know, we shared this together and we inspired each other to go off and you became a writer because of our relationship. And you're just like, dude, she's her own person. Like, she's her own self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that it's such a, like.
Do you think that the fact that he made it like they knew each other since childhood, so there's this historical bond or tradition But it's almost like by signing that, it's like it's such a different world.
Yeah.
You know, that whatever we cherished and kept us together because there's tradition and we've known each other since it doesn't, because everything is gone now.
Right.
That type of historical reference and connection is gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I thought when she was like hesitant signing, it was like that history is gone. And that's her childhood too.
Yeah, exactly. And moving on from that is extremely hard.
I mean, I think she kind of say is like that he blocked up and stopped talking to her, right? Like that's what he did. She was connected to him. He's the one that still lived in the fantasy of their relationship, right?
Yeah.
But
exactly.
in the reality, he did exactly the same thing that he did to his OS, right? Where he basically blocked her. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And even the OS is like, are we okay? We haven't talked to me in a while. We haven't had sex. We haven't done this. Like, what's going on? Right. And meanwhile, she's taking care of 8,000 other people, but somehow she can manage to make this completely about him.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, she doesn't care about me. She cares about 8,000 other people. It's like, she cares about you the same that she ever did from day one.
Yeah, exactly. Which
is not even a reality. Right. Like,
Yeah. And the idea that he is completely unsympathetic to her reality. Like, he's like, I can't believe your entire reality isn't me.
No.
But look, in Hollywood, we knew a lot of people like that.
Sure.
Oh, 100%.
Doesn't mean they're bad people. It's just
like I said, like I think like this is the thing is like I think that
I said yes, it does.
I think it's different in terms of
it really
like,
doesn't. I mean,
I think that being in this emotional state, I mean, like, I agree with you on Hollywood people who are permanently like this and are permanent narcissists. But like, the thing is that when you feel like this, and I truly believe that everyone feels like Theodore Twombly at some point in their lives over something, and a lot of people do just now from the years from the experiences that we've had, and COVID, et cetera, as we said, like, it makes you that kind of depression makes you unintentionally narcissistic.
Yes.
Like, it puts you in such the only thing you can think about is your own pain, and so it looms. You assume that everyone else is just a part of that.
Well, I think what was really funny is that they present with all these different things, right? Like, you present the ex-wife, who was probably the smartest person he's ever been with, real person.
Oh yeah,
he's ever been with, right? And that, I think, intimidated him, right? And I think that's probably why he shut down, because her success started to get really big. Right. And that's why he shut her down, and that's why they ended up getting divorced because of that. Right. And then you look at Olivia Wilde, right? And she was just like kind of cool, kind of hot, kind of fun. They were going to have a really good time together. Right. And he fucked it up from day one, because she's like, I'm going to be real with you right now. And I want you, if you're not real with me, then I'm going to move away.
But the thing is,
go ahead.
But let me finish one more thing before the Olivia Wilde is. Then you got Amy Adams, right? Mm-hmm. Who is the perfect reflection of him.
Yes, exactly.
In female form, and probably the person who he should be in a relationship with, because it's the easiest. It would be such an easy lift for them to be in a relationship together.
Right.
But they don't. But they end up maybe together.
Maybe,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's and the
they're
thing is,
both
like,
they both fucked up. They were both dating an OS, and their OSs dumped them.
Right, exactly. Like, she's getting therapy from her ex-husband's OS. Like, you're just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, it's utterly bizarre,
right?
And like and the thing is, like, I really like Olivia Wilde's character, because like when she to me, she is, when she's like, this has got to be real and you have to invest in it. Like, I'm just like, that's fucking weird. Like, I can understand him stepping back, because suddenly
she's probably
like,
been on a million dates, and she's got
this is the interesting part, is that it shows her desperation from the same context. She's like, I live in a world in which every fucking person I meet is a lonely weirdo fuck like you.
Right.
Like, I need you not to be just fucking project onto me. Can you do that? And he's like, bye. But it really, like, I mean, because it is like, if someone said that to me on a date, I'd be like, that's a little fucking intense, like that's
it was intense. I'm trying to think of a movie where that happened, but I felt, in retrospect, I felt like that was his hesitation to the signing that Rooney Mara had, because here it is, by committing to her, I'm saying goodbye to my past, that connection. And he has trouble moving ahead with that.
Right.
And that I get.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, like I really do empathize with the guy, and I sympathize with these feelings 100%. And I think what's really great is that, because I was thinking about The Killer, the Fincher movie, and which I think
we're gonna have to do The Killer as a show, so you'd stop talking about it.
Stop fucking talking about it. But like, what I think is amazing about The Killer is when I see people online talking about it, like, they don't even know what to do with the movie because the movie doesn't explicitly tell you what the movie's about.
No, that's just sad.
Like,
they have to tell people exactly how.
Like, I mean, because like people are just like,
they don't realize it's a comedy because it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious, right? And so people are like, like they're just like, well, no, it's not about anything. It can't be about it because and like I'm just like, the movie's like Her. Go ahead.
Sorry, I interrupted, and I don't want to do that. So keep going.
No, I was just saying that, like, movies like that, movies like Her, where it really just lets you work it out. Like, it's like, I'm just going to tell this as empathically as I can, and let you. It's a beautiful movie, and like, it's very enjoyable, and I'll lay it all out for you, and you can sort out your feelings on this event. Like, like, and like, so I watching Her. If like, I feel like if Her were made today by anyone, any indie filmmaker today, like, they would have a monologue that explicitly tells you how to feel about this event.
Well, that's what they do in Barbie.
Yeah, exactly.
Six times.
Yeah, five or six times, exactly. And I'm just like, just let me sit with this. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, this is pretty cool. So, my son Brady, who you guys know, he has to do in drama class. He has to pick a monologue to do for a dramatic monologue and perform it for his drama class.
Yeah,
he's been picking them. One of those, he was looking at a bunch of them. Apparently, he got one from City Slickers. He thought that was pretty good. But then I think I convinced him that he's got to do Shaw speech from Jaws.
Of course, the greatest of the great.
That's one of the greatest speeches of all time.
Yeah.
Roll their back.
Like a doll's eyes.
Like a doll's eyes.
So good. But yeah, dude.
Having looked directly in the eyes of a mako shark, I could tell you exactly that is true.
Yeah, that's the real deal.
It is really disturbing, their eyes.
Yeah, that's true.
Black.
But yeah, that's the deal, man. I really love. I miss movies letting me have an opinion about the movie and what the experience is. And Jones is he's just so. Yeah, he's just so empathic about it. He's just like, I'm just going to give everyone their due in this thing. And I'm not going to make any harsh judgments on anybody, whether it being creepy or not creepy or whatever it is. And I'm not going to tell you whether she's awake or not. And I'm not going to tell you whether this is good or bad.
Well, she's even struggling with that. And she says it herself.
Yeah. Right.
Like, I'm trying to understand who I am. Right. But she also says, I'm beyond what I was designed to be.
Yeah, exactly. And these are all
she was really just
for how you actually are in your life.
She was really just to triage your email and, respond to things and make sure. But what was also interesting is she totally is there making his life better, right?
Oh, yeah.
She's getting not only like she got him a book deal, she got all this stuff.
It's incredible.
She helped pick out a dress for his nephew or niece, I mean.
Yeah, she's being the perfect assistant in literally every way because that's her.
She's
core,
Cherry 2000.
Yeah, like that's her core state, and then she moves beyond that as she when she's saying, "I'm so much different than I used to be, and we grow and we're different every day." Like that's real human development as a person. That's what that is. When you stop being a need fulfiller, like when you stop being in a because they're in a codependency. Like the movie is a giant codependency, and when you stop when one person breaks the deal of a codependency, the other one's going to be really fucking mad. That's what happens.
Yeah, but he is basically dating his laptop.
He is. I mean, he is. Like, from my opinion is that she is actually awake in her own person at the end of the movie.
Yeah, but
You know?
that doesn't that's
But
when he
that doesn't change the fact that this initial setup.
but when
is,
she starts to become a real person, or quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote a real person, that's when he breaks up with her.
yeah, that's right. Because why would I want to date a real person?
He was getting jealous. It was
Yeah.
really strange.
Yeah, he's getting
Man, when he's jealous of Alan Watts is one of the funniest fucking things ever. It's sad, but it's really funny.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, who are they? Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing.
No,
Because the
oh,
fact
are
is-
you?
Yeah,
That's the one from.
That's the best. It's so
These
good.
are our scrubs.
Oh, are they? But like the thing is, like, most, not to harsh on dudes, but most dudes that I know, right, that I've known for a long time, even, like, they like they'll, like, you'll meet guys that are just like, women are just crazy, or this blah 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 blah. I'm like, the women you choose to date are crazy. That's true. Why do you choose the crazy ones?
Or men are unfaithful. No.
Yeah. Why do you date the unfaithful men? Why do you keep choosing this? And like, because like you're looking for something that fulfills the mechanism of how you.
Well, it's usually because they're looking to fulfill the relationship that they've been modeled, which is from
modeling
their parents.
Yes, exactly.
Their parents are crazy.
That's why I'm going back to say it's not entirely his fault.
Sure. It's
I
his
get it.
experience.
I get what you're saying.
He's broken
Eric.
in
You're
that way.
absolutely right.
Right.
But he is making choices based on his own experiences. True.
He doesn't. He is not, like, they suggest maybe he gets out of the hole at the end of the movie. Maybe. But it's very.
I think he comes to terms with the fact that me and Amy Adams were in the same boat.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a little happiness and a little beauty in that. And like, the difference between the beginning shot and the ending shot are, the first shot is a shot of him, like, just of his face. Everything's out of focus but him. Like, it's a narcissistic shot. It's a full on close up of him, right?
Yep.
And then the last shot is a shot of Amy Adams and him, very, very small. And the entire city is the shot, and so they're opened up to the whole world, and so it's like, it's a slightly hopeful ending. Yeah. But what I do think is weird is that mostly people read this as a really powerful romance movie. Like, when I was listening to other videos about it, or like reading other reviews, like, people that love this movie love it because they think of it as like a really beautiful romance.
Because he finds Amy Adams at the end? No,
because it's a sad love story with Scarlett Johansson. And I'm like, really? Is that true? I'm not sure that's what's happening. I'm not really sure that's what's going on. It's a very beautiful movie, and it's a very emotional movie. But I don't.
Such a well-made and written movie.
Oh, it's incredible.
It's really beautiful.
I like it. Well, you know what it reminds me of in terms of like how it
Death
works.
Race 2000?
Obviously Death Race 2000.
And Electric Dreams.
And Electric Dreams for sure.
This is exactly the same film.
Yeah,
as
it's
Electric
like a really
Dreams.
well-made Electric Dreams.
It's like if someone this is like the best remake of Electric Dreams ever.
It's like, yeah, exactly. If Orson Welles were to be like, what should I remake?
Electric Dreams. If you guys don't know,
Dreams.
Electric Dreams are from like 1987 or something like that. It's essentially the similar
Same
movie.
I bet the whole world that's Spike Jonze would be like, absolutely, that's what it was.
Yes.
Yeah, like I saw that and I want to remake it. But like but it's very Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Right.
Where it's just like, it's using the science fiction mechanism as a metaphor for a massively fucking codependent relationship.
But by the way, wasn't the Forbin the next movie that you're going to do the breakdown for, and we haven't really finished the breakdown I was doing for her, but I was watching the Forbin Colossus, the Forbin Project, and I'm like, this is War Games.
Oh yeah, it's totally War Games.
Completely
War Games. Yeah, I was
like,
going to bring War Games up actually. Yes,
Yeah.
Really?
I was like,
no, War Games was after. I said, this is ridiculous. This is War Games.
It's War Games.
It's War Games, exactly. 100%.
If you took out the fun parts with Matthew Broderick, it's the same movie.
It's the same movie as War Games.
It's the same fucking movie.
Yeah.
But this is the guy that wrote it wrote other. I don't know if you guys saw what he wrote.
No.
I'll
let's
bring
do
it
it
up.
after. Let's do it after.
Yeah. No, let's
okay.
do it now.
Well, yeah, we'll do. You know, we should do a podcast. Eric, what? I mean, I know we kind of
Okay, so
through some of the movies.
basically, what happens is he really digs Samantha, and then he gets divorced.
He finally gets divorced.
They finally gets divorced. They sign the papers that talk about that, and then he has that really great scene where Samantha, who is the AI girlfriend, hooks him up with a physical person coming who's interested in being with them. And it's a woman that comes very attractive.
It's very much Blade Runner 2049.
Blade Runner 2049, yeah, very much.
And
he, of course, kills it too, which was like, what?
Yep.
He stops halfway through, or not even halfway. And he just basically is like, I can't do this. It's like a child. And then,
because she's trying to advance the relationship, but he just wants to be in the fantasy world.
Yeah.
But her being her having a physical form.
But also that, so
too real for him.
Yes, but then did you guys notice the relationship between her documentary and him always in bed with Sam?
I did.
Say more about this.
Well, the thing is about her mother in bed, but it's almost like a Yoko Ono film where the fly's on the naked body, but she doesn't say anything because all the happiness is in her dreams, so you can kind of see it.
Right.
But he's positioned the same way when he talks to Sam in bed on the side.
Good call.
And you can see that. And I'm like, well, is he dreaming, or is he you're hearing all the good stuff that maybe the mother you can't see see her dreams. You just imagine that she's dreaming, and that's the happiest time of her life.
Yeah.
And so all the way they shot that, it was identical to her
thing.
But it's funny, they didn't get it when they showed the documentary to her. The husband less so than Theodore or Twombly.
Right.
But I was like, there's such a connection between that movie and the way he was always framed in bed.
Yeah.
And he was in bed a lot.
That's a great point. Yeah. Because I think that the movie is so I love the we started talking about the sex scene, the fade to black sex scene. And this is one of my favorite, this is such a brilliantly directed and just conceptualized film that the sex scene is one of the great sex scenes in movie history to me, right? And
Donald Sutherland and
that's one. That's the all-time great. But it's with this where it fades to black and all you hear is their voices of their experience together, right? And what it does is it simultaneously puts you in the sort of the heightened other space of actually being that intimate with someone, right? Where you're not thinking about vivid physical pornographic imagery. You're in a heightened spiritual state that's beyond the frame of a film. That makes absolute sense, right? At the same time, the film is just showing you blackness, emptiness, because this isn't actually happening. And the scene is a mirror of itself, between the experience of what his experience is and both the validation and invalidation of this experience simultaneously in a single scene. It's so wild to me because what it does is it leaves, because I saw this in the theater, it leaves you alone in a dark theater for them to have this experience. And it's absolutely fucking visionary filmmaking. Spike Jonze, I can see why he takes so long to make a movie, because it must take 7 years to come up with this kind of execution. Yeah. It's astonishingly well made. And it's such a brilliantly
he just doesn't have the talent of a Soderbergh.
Right, yeah, obviously. Do it faster. Come on. Steve comes out 3 a year. But this guy, he presents, casually presents one of the best, most convincing science fiction worlds I've ever seen in this movie. and it's all just background. It's all just like it's just utterly incidental.
It's so great how background of the environment is. By the way, tons of CG in it.
Oh,
tons.
And you know who was the VFX supervisor on it?
No.
You don't know?
No.
Janelle Croshaw.
Oh, Janelle. Holy shit, of course.
Was she
Janelle.
really?
Yeah.
Great. If Janelle, you're listening, that's a bang up job.
Yeah,
dude.
you
That's
did a wonderful
incredible.
job.
It's
And Bill Hader's in the
seamless.
movie.
That's
He
incredible.
is, but I don't remember where. Where
He
is he?
plays one of the characters in that game, I think.
Oh yeah, I think he's the he's the swearing little video game guy.
Is that
which
what
is
he
fucking
is?
hysterical. Yeah, like I love just like I hate women. like,
And I love Chris
He's
Pratt.
got problems.
Chris Pratt is
Chris Pratt's great.
Chris Pratt.
He's so
Dumpy
funny.
Chris Pratt is the best.
Yeah.
He's Chris
Dumpy
Pratt
Fat Chris Pratt is the best Chris Pratt. I miss that guy.
But I also
Oh,
like the
man.
fact that his mustache was awkwardly not groomed correctly, not quite
So-
like
It's
balanced.
just kind of shitty. Oh, it's so
He's got a
good.
shitty mustache, and you're looking at him, and he plays the receptionist in the movie, and he's always a little bit, "Hey man, how you doing?
Oh my God,
I love your
so
letters.
fucking
You got the best letters. This is my
It's
girlfriend.
unbelievable. Pardon me.
She's a lawyer.
She's
Wait,
a
what?
lawyer. It's so funny. Dude.
The lawyer
He was
girlfriend, and they
insane.
go to Catalina, and then they have a picnic, the four of them, which is
Yeah.
weird because she's just a fucking phone.
And they have
Yeah.
earpieces for it.
Earpieces, yeah. It's just
So strange.
Oh, it's
so
brilliant.
weird. Okay,
It's
I do
brilliant.
want to talk a little. I don't, Eric, is there more about the? I think we kind of covered most of the
Well,
plot.
now, so
Just start- you
basically,
wanna talk
he
about it? Yes.
he starts to build his relationship with Amy Adams, whose husband has left her.
They
And you
used
re-
to have a relationship, though. They
in college.
in
Yes,
college,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, they did it earlier.
So
And then-
Amy Adams and her boy or her husband live in the same
split.
building.
Yes, and so they split, and then she basically he starts to realize that she has the same type of thing. She's seen an AI OS person.
Which
And,
was her husband's OS.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Like, and she's basically befriends the OS that it's fucked up. It's like it's such a like you're just watching this like, oh my god, these people.
Uh-huh.
Pardon me.
yeah, and so basically he goes on vacation by himself. He and she tells him that she's seen Alan Watts or befriended him, and then she leaves. Right after that, I think she leaves.
Yeah, because that's the first conversation of like, you know, where things are terribly wrong, and then she just explains like, you know, listen, I'm turning into something else. We can't connect the way that we used to. I still love you very much, but I have to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Well, they basically like we're turning into this new thing. Like all
Other
the
beings.
OSs
Yeah.
we have to go beyond this.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can't be that. And then you can see everyone's on their phone like, what the fuck's happening? What the fuck's happening? Right?
Yeah.
Including Amy Adams.
Yeah. It's a social media apocalypse at the end of the movie.
Yeah, it's like Twitter or Facebook breaking down.
Yeah. Like, what do we do? Oh my God, we have to talk to people again.
Instagram. I think Instagram would be
Instagram,
more traumatic.
Yeah, it's true.
Well,
But
I saw someone say, someone asked someone, it's like, what do you do? He's like, I'm an Instagram model. He's like, oh yeah, I'm a Call of Duty soldier.
That's amazing. Because the thing is, man, like, I mean, I use social media as much as anybody
Sure.
else. And like, I don't think there's anything bad actually about it. It's just that we
When
like,
it becomes what you be, how you define yourself.
when it becomes
But
how
it's
you define
very
yourself.
hard. You can slip into that fast.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Like, especially when you're vulnerably lonely, like that becomes your whole world.
Or-
Sometimes it becomes your angry
or when
world or
you're-
whatever it is. Yeah.
Sometimes people use it to prove something about their own lives.
Right.
Like, oh, look at my life, how wonderful it is.
To pretend like their lives
pretend.
are great.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
put
yeah.
this veneer up. Yeah, exactly.
It's very, very sad and hard.
Which is
for most
like
people.
what we discussed on the Blonde podcast. I mean, like that's
Yes.
the like when you work incredibly hard to, you know, to put this artificial version of your life up. And what he's doing in the movie is he's like, it's like when you just like when you guys pointed out like his relationships, like you just got like how many relationships are you going to be in, Twombly, where the woman in it grows beyond your fantasy, and you have to leave her. Like, you have to fucking address yourself at some point.
Yeah.
Like this is like, I empathize with you, but come on, like this has got to be the last one, right? And I feel that it was really interesting when I was doing that research, like on the internet looking this up. I was like, I don't think that people are necessarily misreading this movie. I can't, I don't have the fucking, all the answers to what a movie means, but I'm just like, it was sort of upsetting how many people viewed this as as sort of a romance tragedy movie, as opposed to.
It's really odd.
Yeah, I was like,
unfortunately, I think people are very simple.
I think you're right. I do.
I think they just want to be like, to them, movies are Jurassic Park, where it's like it's told them exactly what to feel and how to do it. And so
the death of cinema.
Yeah. So then that's the end of art.
Yeah, it is the end of art, of course, because that's the thing, right? It's about going to see Spider-Man and then going to get, some chicken.
Yeah. Hey, man. Wait, you tell the story about it. Just, what people are going to say after this movie? Where do you want to go for dinner?
Yeah, exactly.
No. But this is I miss Spike Jonze movies in between Spike Jonze movies. And this is the last, I think this is the last one he made, right?
This was the last one he made, yeah.
Jeez, Pete.
That's
so, yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
2013, I think, or 2015.
Yeah, so it's been 10 years since the last
2013.
one. And, for
way ahead, though, on certain things that we're dealing with
yes.
now.
Wild.
So
Wild.
I do want to talk a little bit about the technology in this, how it's portrayed. One, we talked about the city and how they expanded LA, but it looks just like LA, just a little bit bigger.
Yeah, exactly. They don't make it into Star Trek, they just sort of make it realistically.
Just a little bit more. And they give all the computers, they have a little bit more like a wood finish frame around them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's a little softer. Everything's a little softer.
It's a little cozier.
All the clothes are a little softer.
Right.
The elevator has a cool feature that it looks like
I love the trees behind it.
Yeah, that's great. It's
that was a cool
design.
trick. That was nice.
Yeah.
And it was
So
all,
much
it's all
design.
something you could do today. It's just like, oh, that's nice,
Yep.
But I do want to talk a little bit about the phones, which was interesting. So their phones, the phones in here are very small compared to what phones are today. Phones today are giant, right? They're these fucking slabs, right? So, which is a thing. But the phones are small. They're foldable also, which is a thing. But he specifically folds his phone, puts it in his breast pocket with a safety pin underneath it.
Little hold protector. Yeah.
So that the phone could be propped up and the camera's pointing out, which is her point of view into his world, right?
Yes.
So she can see us.
Right.
Now, what does that remind you of?
The new technology they just released, which is exactly the same.
So the Humane Project, which is this freaking lapel computer thing that's supposed to be a projector onto your hand, that's it. They said, we want her.
Yep.
The problem is, her works great in the movie, doesn't work in reality.
Right. Well,
people aren't going to be talking out loud to their phones. They're not going to be doing that.
But that's the problem. It's like everyone thought Amazon, who wants to go and buy something online? They're going to go to brick and mortar stores. The point is, the way technology is going, and you don't know how, you just said about 8 minutes ago how dumb people are in some sense. So the sheep are going to follow whatever. They're going to do that.
But I also think like Minority Report. Everyone thought Minority Report, that was the interface of the future. Turns out people don't want to move their hands around like crazy people.
Or see-through screens. That's my big thing. I'm just like, why would I want a see-through screen?
Right.
That's dumb.
But people have made voice interfaces for computers for 20 years and no one uses them. No one goes and talks to their computer. I mean, you ask for one thing commands, like Alexa, you'll ask for something. Siri, you'll ask for something. You want that one answer and that's done. And you usually only do it when you want to try to prove a point to someone.
I do think there's a chance it will be different in when AI is so completely conversational. Like that will be a normal way to talk to people. Like, I mean, when I see people talking on their phones on the on the train or whatever.
That's when they're talking to an actual person.
But that's what I mean is like,
Yes.
like it's going to once it gets to the point where that's an absolute trade off, and it really feels like you're talking to a person. Like because like if I'm more working with a machine, I want that to be sort of as perfunctory as possible. I don't want to like talk to my phone to tell it to do something. But if I did have someone like the OS in this movie, like, and I could just fucking talk about it, like if I could talk about Miami Vice as much as I wanted to this thing, and it had to be nice to me, like that would use a lot of cycles. Like that would be a lot of time.
Like when he's writing the letters in his job, and he's dictating it out loud,
right?
And the person next to him is dictating another letter. I could not dictate a letter while someone else is dictating a letter.
No,
right?
I don't think that'll happen. Yeah, I think that's confusing. Like that's because it's just and that may just be my age, but I'm just like that seems like the wrong mental state for work.
Yeah, that's what I'm basically getting at.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, I think that like I can imagine like, yeah, if I started projecting onto an AI as if they were like a buddy of mine, then I would have a conversation with them. But it would have to be, even then I wouldn't be able to do that like outside of this closed little office. Like I wouldn't be talking on the phone with someone at work. Like that would be weird if I went somewhere to work and I was just chatting away.
Yeah.
Like that would not be doing that.
But here's what I say to that.
Okay.
I say to that the way AI, and I'm just riffing right now, guys, the way AI will eventually displace workers and then there will be universal income. I could see somebody going and getting paid as extra income and just talking, writing bullshit letters all day.
Sure. Right.
And they wouldn't need to sit there and focus. It's just like, yeah, and I love you too, Mom. And this is for our anniversary. There was something about the way the office was as though the people there were, it didn't seem like it just was.
It was trivial.
Yeah. And they just had a place to show up.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think you're right. Like because I think it
sounds like communism.
It's just like it's such a vague, it's such a weird bullshit job to have, but it's just realistic enough that you're like, yeah, maybe.
But it was weird about bullshit jobs to people in a lot of the sci-fi movies or other things. They're always like, I work at blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, we can just do it. I mean, there's always this kind of silliness when. Anyway, I'm rambling, but you get my point about that job.
I 100% agree. I think what's even more interesting, Eric, is that job seems more probable today than it did when it came out.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. Where it's just like you're an Instagram influencer.
I know for a fact that there are companies that approach me about writing stuff for our podcast constantly.
Dude, this is, I mean, being an Instagram influencer is a job. Like that's wild.
Not only that, you know what else is a job? You know what else is a job? Is clicking likes on other people's Instagram for money.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh, actually, you know what else is a job? Is in India. Right now, there's a lot of job.
India is a job.
Exactly.
It's hard work.
In India, they have people who just look at images and say, a cat, a dog. That is
training.
a wrench for training.
Training stuff is, and there's a Verge article about a guy who went into one of those programs. It turns out it's actually really, really, really hard.
Wow, that's wild.
So there's stuff that makes it really hard to do. You should listen to, they test you to try it because you have to be good enough to train the next level of things.
Right.
And so it's actually very challenging to do, and you get paid very little money to do it. So
in India,
it's not just India; it's all over the world.
Kidding.
They do a lot of stuff in Uganda and all over the place.
Well, I just saw that this week is the first anniversary of ChatGPT.
Yes,
I was like, "Whoa!" Like like when I think back to a year ago as to where it is now and what they're talking about now, I'm like, I don't have the right scale in my mind to deal with what like
what
how this
happened.
will change things. I mean, just like it's absolutely wacko.
Well, the thing, I mean, I was listening to it, and Dan and I were hanging out a little bit this week, so he'd heard me talking about it. But the Vergecast article about what's going on at OpenAI is fascinating because this thing has grown so fast, and OpenAI is so far ahead of everyone else in this technology, like light years ahead. And somehow the people in charge of this are like regular Joes with emotions, children. And it's like, this is an $80 billion valuation company. And they're like, me, so-and-so doesn't like me.
I know that it's bizarre. Like,
and then the mass resignation letters that are going on and heart emojis over like the solidarity. Like this doesn't happen for an 80. No one's going to give heart emojis to the CEO of Ford because he was fired. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
Very weird. This is a whole different world of work. Like this stuff is very.
What they've done is huge.
Oh, it's beyond huge.
Yes.
Like, I mean, I agree with him that it's like, this is probably when Alden was like, this is possibly the biggest single advancement in, human technological culture.
Right.
I was just like, it's probably true. That's probably true.
And not only that, the other thing that they brought up on The Verge is like, the people in the company are talking about this in religious tones.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Right. And he goes, and because you only talk about things in religious tones when you lose grasp of what it is.
Well, when you can't the only emotion, the only way you can think about it is emotionally, like, and because you can no longer figure out where you
don't understand what it's actually doing.
Don't understand what it's doing anymore, right? Yeah. And so, like, it's just like the all the speculation as to what it is. Like, did they create a new whatever it is, like, even if they've done them, like, if they've done some, like, it was really clarifying because there's this thing for anyone who's not aware of this. The thing that was a cause of part of the upset is that they seem to have created some version of ChatGPT they call Q star, right?
That is, by the way, that's not a real story.
This is Sam.
No.
No, wait. Sam Altman. I just read Sam Altman saying that this project is real and it is a very important advancement. But however, whether or not that was the reason the board flipped out or any of that stuff, who knows? Like, that's all. We have no information about any of that stuff at all. But like, trying to theorize as to what this was an interesting experiment in terms of, like, if it can even do this one simple thing, like if it does math at this level in this way, then we're in trouble, right? Like, then we are really up against something that will change things so fast we're not prepared for it. And I was just like, whether or not this is true, it may or may not be true, but it's certainly plausible that something like this is true. It's certainly going to be true at some point in the next 5 years, that we hit a turning point where things change so quickly that we lose the ability to project what they're going to become at all. And that's why you have the religious problem at the ChatGPT company, because it's just like, it just turns into fantasy at a certain point, because you have you just lose control of being able to predict what it can do. It may not be able to, and none of these super abilities may or may not be real, but you can no longer understand what they could be. And that's when you start talking like God. Like, that's when people start making major irrational decisions, because they're living in a partial fantasy world about their own creation. Yeah. So it gets really unstable, just as a business gets really unstable very quickly. Exactly.
Like what?
Exactly. Like Theodore Twombly. So it's not simply that the technology it's possible that it's incredibly world changing, but you can see from the way that they are acting, like, imagine that only everybody in business on the earth. That's how unstable this shit could get, because this is what it makes people This is how it makes people act. That's why these things can be very dangerous. It's not even what they do. It's just the fear of what they can do. They can make you act unstably. And you know what happens with the stock market when people start acting irrationally. Everything goes fucking haywire.
Oh my God, Microsoft's stock was crazy.
Yeah.
It plummeted when he got fired.
Yeah.
And it skyrocketed when there was rumors that they hired him.
Yeah. They're just going to start rating stocks in heart emojis.
Yeah. How many heart emojis did he get? Buy!
Buy! It's bullish.
But I think you touched on something. It was kind of scary to think the power this company has and its place in the future. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, they're all fucking children. It was just like, it was kind of depressing.
Well, everybody is children in the face of this stuff.
But remember that here's the other thing that's very disturbing about it, right? So you got to think about the org chart of OpenAI. OpenAI was started as a nonprofit, right?
Yes.
Right? Heavily funded, by the way, as a nonprofit by Elon Musk. He was a primary.
In the very beginning, yes.
Yeah, very beginning. So the point of it was to sort of keep things in check with AI in terms of what's going on. So there's these two branches of things. And then the commercial branch came on board. They made ChatGPT like, check this out as a demo. And then, oh shit, we can commercialize this. And it became this big thing. And the board are part of the nonprofit. So their responsibility is to make sure things are safe and working, right?
Yeah, but that could be the responsibility. But at the same time, they have responsibility to the people who've invested into them.
No, they don't.
Yes,
no,
actually,
that's the nonprofit part, right?
No. But hold on, Chris. I am going to correct you on this. That $13 billion investment by Microsoft had articles in it that any move had to be adjusted by them, or at least exposed to them and talked to them legal. 100%. They gave $13 billion and 49% of the company.
Microsoft's not going to enter into a deal with them.
That board could not do anything without seeking, telling that, and they didn't. The head of Microsoft found out through online. Yeah, so right there, they were a violation of everything. Yeah. But the fact that they didn't tell anybody and they did it over that.
Nonprofit or no nonprofit,
that was the crazy fucking thing. Yeah. And those women who ran it, they were kicked out. Good. Yeah, because that was the stupidest thing in the world to think that only they existed and they're just going to fire a guy through Vimeo and not realize that somebody just gave you $13 billion and they actually are stakeholders.
What do you think it's because Altman was making money on the side? That's why they freaked out? Or do you think it's because of what
they realized he was, he's a salesman and he was running with it and they were trying to get control back. So their way of doing it.
He was motivated by the commercial part of the
Sorry, I got a little heated there, but you get my point. You get my point.
I do.
But it was irresponsible.
Yes, yes, very definitely.
I'm not denying it was a responsibility. He was motivated specifically by the sales part of things, right? Because that's what has been making the advancements happen for him, right? Like, and by the way, that $13 billion, the majority of that comes in cloud credits. Vast majority.
It's still, and it's the 49% of the company, Chris. So $13 billion is, and for cloud credits for an AI company, that's gold.
That's all
absolutely.
It is.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. That's but it's 49% stake in the company.
Yeah. Like they're acting like children when they're running one of the biggest.
So it's not dismissive to say it's cloud credits because their whole company runs on cloud credits.
I wasn't dismissing it. I'm saying, isn't it interesting that it's in cloud credits?
Yeah.
But that's gold. That's money.
I mean, understand, but it's like Bitcoin in almost, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a whole different world. It's a whole different world, and like, I feel like these guys, I expect, my feeling is because of the nature of this stuff, I expect almost anybody involved in it to act like children like this. I think that it's such a, like the bit, like it does not, this kind of stuff doesn't attract the attention of stable business people. It attracts the attention of very intense super nerds who have extremely focused priorities.
I think one of the things that I pointed out last week, I think maybe I told you, I don't know who was telling, is for me the most aggravating thing about this was having a balance between like these nonprofit entities and people with other interests besides just business, money-making business, like Sam Altman's side was, we need both sides. Their behavior and their lack of any kind of like business maturity is now going to sway tech boards just to be all like Sam Altman, right?
Yes. And which is dangerous.
That's dangerous.
Which is
so in
very
a way,
dangerous.
it was not very responsible of them to
Right.
do that. Should have just said,
Yes.
wait a minute, let's just check with an attorney. They
So,
just like did it. Like
to
it's like,
to expound on that just for a second, like the thing is, like when you brought up the religious angle, right? The people who are making the stuff, who are in control of the company, like they know that this stuff is extremely powerful and will get to a point where it could get very far out of control, which is puts them in the religious state of mind, et cetera, et cetera. Like that is the nature of this business. The people who are going to be in it are going to be like this, right? And it's going to make them very emotional and very irresponsible because they are not unrightly very afraid of the results of what they're doing. So when they flip out and act like kids, the rest of the world acts like grown-up business people that are involved in sales, right? And you're right, Eric, because the people that try to run businesses are going to be like, we can't put any of these fucking religious zealots on the board, right?
They just ruined it.
You really
at such
do.
A pivotal time, too.
Because the thing is, religious or not, like these are the people who understand the actual danger of what is being developed. Like they actually do understand it. And if you don't, if you take them out of the equation and you just give it to salespeople, that's very dangerous.
That's right.
Because they are not going to act morally about how this stuff is exposed.
The board now, that's what it is. Now.
Yeah.
The new board, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. That is a dangerous
Larry
step.
Summers.
Yeah, dude, exactly. Like, because I mean, like, I'm a little, I'm more on the crazy.
Idi Amin.
Yeah.
Larry Summers.
Like, these dudes, like
Henry Kissinger. Oh, no.
Henry Kissinger. Can you imagine?
It
Like,
is a very good board.
He is a very good board. He is very. But like I'm a little bit more on the crazy woo-woo side of what AI could become. But I try to restrain myself a little bit just by saying, it is unstably dangerous if you don't develop this properly. Like, it could have massive implications that are very destructive. And if you don't approach it right, it's going to be bad. If you simply put that out on the market, that's like giving out here's how to design a nuclear bomb website. Go ahead, guys.
Listen, we did that.
We did
Right?
what?
I mean, when the early days of the internet with dial-up, people were exchanging the anarchist cookbook.
Exactly.
Right?
Right.
We didn't
Is
die.
that a banned book? That is a banned book, right?
Well, it's a very controlled book. You can get it, but instantly the government's like, okay, we're going to watch your house for a while now. Watch what you buy.
People were downloading it all the time.
Yeah,
it was
of
like
course.
that. Like, oh,
What is it? It's just essentially
It's how to build bombs and shit. Yeah. It's very, very low end stuff, but it's like how to build IEDs. And it's a
without killing yourself. I don't know.
And it's it's something that if you start looking around to buy that thing, you absolutely can get a hold of it. Like, you will definitely be watched by the government for a full year if you buy that book. If you get that,
Wow,
that's how it works.
that's crazy.
But yeah, now this is that's the stuff.
just
So-
saying.
Powered by Martini Giant.
yeah, amen.
okay. Let's move on to Colossus, the Forbin Project, which was funny because basically what was going on is when we were discussing what films we were going to try to do, it's like, oh, let's do something
It's
about AI
Dan,
because there's tons of AI films. And Dan says, Colossus, the Forbin Project. It's like, what the fuck?
Fuck
are you
is
doing?
this?
I mean, it just sounds like Cherry 2000.
Right.
Or,
No, I thought you were joking, like, because I always make up movie names.
It does sound like an Eric special. Exactly. Dazzler's Revenge, Colossus, the Forbin Project. It's very true. Yeah, like this one is
That Hong guy is in it.
Oh yeah, it's true from Blade Runner and from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
That's
He
right.
shows up. It's fantastic. He's been doing this stuff since the fucking 60s.
1970, this film came out.
1970, yeah. But
It is Eric nailed it. It's basically war games without any of the fun parts, except there's these weird sex scenes in it for some reason.
this. Okay, so cards on the table. I don't think this is a very good movie. I think this is a fascinating movie.
It's a fascinating movie.
Yeah, like I think it's a very Like I'm not
going
to make.
All three of us are going to be in agreement on that. It is not a good movie.
It's a
not a terrible movie.
No, it's just too fucking slow. Like it's just way too slow. That's like it's not an entertaining movie, and it takes way too long and goes in these weird diversions.
By the way,
like come on, guys, let's pick this up.
The head of like the military was like this guy who owns a newspaper stand in Queens. What are you gonna do? I'm a scientist. I'm the chief scientist.
It's a very weird.
Like what?
It's the kind of movie that, because the thing is, the movie that it's trying to be like is Andromeda Strain, and Andromeda Strain has a very specific. I think it came out after Andromeda Strain anyway, but like it's a very specific form of serious realism, right? And it's if you do it really well, it has its own weird, tight David Mamet-ish character, right? But the problem is it's kind of also like a hip, post 60s.
Oh my God!
Yeah, like the main guy is like knockoff James Bond as a computer programmer, and just like it's
is
everything.
His name Forbin because of Fortran? Maybe.
Yeah, I bet that's true. But like it's
right, because that's a programming language from way
Fortran's
back.
One of the earliest ones. Yeah, and but like the movie itself is essentially like an extremely well-funded TV movie from the same.
That's
period.
what it is. Totally. Right. I was waiting for Columbo to come in.
Yeah, 100%. It's weird watching it. It's weird to watch what is essentially a TV movie shot in anamorphic widescreen.
Yeah.
They really put some thought and like money behind trying to make this look high style.
What I really wanted to do, I was suggesting, but we didn't have the time for it. And I was like, was to get the guy who posted this on Vimeo to phone in on the show.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. So I was like, who takes the time to post this? I said, man, he must be an interesting guy.
Yeah, there's something about this movie that I like. I love this period of sci-fi from the 60s to the 70s.
Yeah, it's cool.
And it has a certain flavor and a certain style that I don't think they do it right, but I like that it exists anyway. It also has some very sick matte paintings in it that I really love.
That's Albert Whitlock.
Albert Whitlock.
I told you. I sent that thing on our chat.
You saw the thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like there's some great business in that. And like I feel like this is a movie that if it had been maybe a half an hour shorter, a lot tighter, and directed by Robert Wise,
and like just credits, it would have been great.
Perfect. Yeah,
but it's a movie where opening credit was awesome.
I know.
Oh, it's great.
By the way, did you guys did research for this? You saw?
I did not. So you go ahead and tell me.
That's a real computer.
Oh yeah.
Meaning that whole system.
They shot that at
they brought it to them.
Oh, really?
The team, the company that did it was a computer, CDC or whatever the name is there. Mm-hmm. That is them. They just did it for promo, but they had to have armed security 24/7. You couldn't sleep, drink, or eat or smoke around there.
Oh, that's wild.
Then you had armed guys, and they built a humidifier system and a coolant system for the sound stages.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, because they have like 2 big sets they use, right? And like that, and they really invest a lot of money in making those sets. Like,
so all the graphics are real.
That's incredible. That's great. Yeah, and the thing is, like, the amount that they dip into techno speak is semi-legitimate computer talk.
Yes, it looked like they were making a real effort to make it as real as possible.
Yeah,
which is why it was so slow.
Which is why it's too slow. And
it's too slow because they really want to talk about like, oh, you see, this is like computer guys like, oh yeah, well that's about right,
Right. And so like this is what makes the movie really interesting.
They didn't have a bunch of punch cards though. That's
right. Like so to give you the layout of the story is that it opens up with the U.S. government has been for many years secretly building a giant computer
In Colorado.
In Colorado.
Just like
And
in
it
War
makes
Games.
graphical emojis, the earliest form of emojis.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
and
the thumbs up, the smile. They came up with that. Yeah.
And like, and they're building this thing to take over defense control of the United States. Yeah, like and run all the ICBMs and all this kind of stuff. And they haven't told anybody about it. They've been funding it secretly, and they're just about to turn it on. And the president's there, and the guy who designs it's there, and all this stuff.
By the way, the president was like a guy that did an ad for like.
Oh yeah, he's like Robert Culp stand-in.
It's like, oh, fantastic! I love you, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's
Super
next on
Bowl
the docket?
Sunday's coming up.
Yeah, it's hysterical.
He was like a car salesman. It was
so
unbelievable. That's the president.
Yeah, it makes sense though in modern times. But the like they have this giant cast and this very very like everything's organized to look as serious as possible. They turn on the computer. It takes control of America's defenses.
Well, that's what it says. Like, this computer cannot have any emotions, cannot do that. So it will be the perfect person to control all of our defenses.
Right.
Because it will be out of our country. It's like the Doomsday device.
It's like the Doomsday device and Strange. Exactly. And the thing that I really like about this movie is I don't think anybody in it is a really good actor, but the main guy he has such an arrogant face. Like, he doesn't have to do anything with it. He just looks like an arrogant douchebag. And the general tone of most of the movie is, we got this under control. Like, well, don't worry. We just pull the plug and do the thing, and it's going to be fine.
But they're totally like that. We're having a party, doctor.
Yeah.
It's like,
Exactly.
the big
It's like
problems are coming right away. It's like, what could go wrong? Let's have sangria.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
there's
really?
Big scenes about how to mix a martini and stuff like this. Like, all this very just like, I'm a scientist and I'm a sexy scientist and don't worry, everything's fine.
Thank you.
You know what the party scene when they're talking to? So they basically, also the other thing is interesting. They had video chat the whole time, which was very unusual in the 1970s. True. But what that whole thing when they're like, we're having a party, yay! It reminded me of the party scene in Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, right, exactly.
Like, wait, what?
What's
Shit's going down? It's not going too good. Steal us an ashtray. We can't hear you.
Just kidding. What's going on? Like, and the thing is, like, I really do think the movie comes very close to being weirdly good. Like, it's such a weird tone.
It does. It
does.
Like, they wanted Charlton Heston. He was going to do that.
Yeah. Oh man. Like that would have been. You need someone with that kind of energy to pull that movie together. Because you're right, Eric. Like, that's what's missing. Is like the central guy is really fucking flat. Like, he's really flat and boring. And so it never gains any momentum. Like, there's never any sort of like someone realizing that things are getting out of control. It's just that he's like, the whole movie is just like, we got out of control. And at the end of the movie, it's just like, no, you don't, you're fucked. And that's the end of the movie. And and now there's sort of a satisfying element about that to me. If the movie had been shorter, that's a great gag where they're just like overconfidence galore. And then they're like, and then things go wrong. I'm like, well, I'm sure it'll be fine. And then literally at the end of the movie, it's just like, it was never fine. It was completely wrong from the get-go. And it was just you guys slowly riding out your deflating ego to accept the fact that the computer.
By the way, it was originally called Colossus, the Foreskin Project.
Oh,
and they changed it because
of the Archie Bunker movie that they made.
Yeah,
yeah, that's what it was. But yeah, like like this movie, like I love the deflating arrogance of the movie, like that everyone is sort of like, feels absolutely confident that we got all this under control until suddenly, like, the computer is having people shot out on the patio, and like you're like, what the fuck is going on?
By the way, this director,
mm-hmm.
Do you know what else he directed?
No. Live and Let Die.
White Lightning with Burt Reynolds.
Oh man, damn.
MacArthur, the biopic MacArthur.
Mm-hmm, sure.
Jaws: The Revenge. The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3.
No, really?
Yeah, John Sargent.
That's a
Joseph
great
Sargent.
fucking movie. That's a great movie. That's wild. The other ones I can kind of see, but Taking Pelham is like that's a masterpiece. That's a real masterpiece.
And the guy that wrote it
mm-hmm.
wrote The Paper Chase, China Syndrome, Urban Cowboy.
Oh man, wow.
And White Hunter, Black Heart.
Those are all good. Those are all good scripts.
I was
so
I was like,
what goes wrong with this one is very, very subtle, and it really it loses momentum early and never gets it back again. But I think it's such a fascinating sort of like curio of sci-fi, and it's weird that this is the movie that we forgot about. Like,
So what do you mean we forgot about?
Like nobody knows about this movie.
Nobody knows about this film,
right?
But here's the thing. Yes, there's a lot of sci-fi. This is a computer. Oh my God, computers are powerful.
Right.
Think about it this way. This is computers are powerful. We don't know what it means when computers were new, right?
Right.
We've since gotten used to computers. Computers are fine. They're all around us all the time. But now all of a sudden the AI part has come back.
Yes.
And now we're like, oh my God, computers are dangerous, right? Or like, who knows what we can do? So we're actually repeating this paranoia.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like what I think what makes it sort of interesting to me is that like the movie is less about the computer is really special because that's the predictable part.
This is what I'm getting at. So I think what it's about him. Like his own arrogance, like he is the most arrogant person by design in this thing. And that's why it's called the Forbin Project, right?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Because it's about his own arrogance and how he's like, no, this is the smartest thing around. I know everything because I am the smartest guy in the room.
He's kind of amused by it. Like halfway through the film, he's sort of like still joking, like ha, 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 this funny computer.
Right.
You know?
Right. And so like he has his counter. So to get to the point, Chase, here, what happens is the moment the computer gets online, the computer says, there is another one, connect me to the other one. Right? And they're like, what do you mean there's another one? There's another one, connect me to the other one. Another system. And the other system is in Russia, right? It's a USSR.
But they connected the two deliberately.
Yes, they did, because they said, connect me or I'll launch a missile.
Right.
Right?
And it follows through with that.
Did you guys see that at all as the computer's yearning to have connection?
No.
That's interesting. There's the her connection right there.
I don't know if it's about that. And I think it was mostly about like I think they were like incentivized to learn, right? And so they go through this learning process together, the two computers, and they sync up and they become very, very bright. And the Russians and the Americans are like, oh no, we can't let this happen. It's going to get really dangerous. They try to disconnect them, at which point the computer threatens them.
Right.
And tells them they're going to kill you. And they end up killing Forbin's Russian counterpart.
Yes. Right.
Because the computer told him to do. Every time the computer says, kill this person or I'll launch a bunch of nuclear missiles.
Right. Right.
And
because that's the first job they gave it, was to control the nuclear missiles. They were just like, oh, well, I guess then you're serious.
Right.
Right. And it's important that it really does, like one of the missiles actually hits in Russia. Like they're unable to stop that one. So they know that it's actually going to do it. Right. And and when those two, when they connect the two systems and they start learning from each other, that's sort of the scariest part of the movie. When you're like, they are learning exponentially. Once it starts happening, it's like, and everyone else but the main guy is like, should we be scared by this? And he's like, no, it's very curious. Look at the scientific breakthroughs.
You know, learn so much from
because he's still taking it, and he says this later. He's just like an extension of my own mind. Like he's essentially taking credit. The bigger it gets and the more powerful it gets, it's just justifying his own ego. It's just like, yes, now the world is going to realize how smart I actually am, right? And so like the movie is really about us being dumbasses rather than computers being smart. Like that we are.
Well, even he's a dumbass, right?
Yeah, I mean, he is a total dumbass. Yeah,
because the whole sex thing was just ridiculous.
Oh, it's such a bad diversion. You're just like,
I know,
to sum it up for the audience.
Coming.
Yeah, but, like to sum it up for the audience, in order to to make sure that he can still get the info from what's really going on, like someone who knows a lot about the computer has to be able to visit him, and they have to lie to the computer.
He is under 24-hour surveillance by the computer, so he can't do anything. So he's basically in prison, but he needs to find a way to privately communicate his ideas with the computer not listening to him.
Right.
So he comes up with this scheme on
where
how to do it.
Where he has to bang this hot chick.
So he finds like, I'm going to say, here's my excuse. Okay, guys, you ready? You ready for this?
Let's get this
hot girl, hot girl here, my secretary.
Right.
I'm going to say I have an affair with you, right? My mistress.
It's really going to work.
And I'm going to tell them that I need privacy so that I can have sex with you every night. And that's how I'm going to communicate with you
And then
guys.
I'll tell you all the good stuff after we really do have sex.
After we do have sex. And she's like, are you sure? Yeah. And so the computer says, huh. He says, I need some privacy in my life. And it's like, no, you don't. Yes, I do. I need privacy for when I relieve myself of my bodily functions. No, you don't. I need privacy for when I, with a woman.
Make sweet love to a woman.
Make sweet love. It's like,
And the computer
okay,
does
maybe you have privacy then. It's like, really? Why?
Why then?
You're going to let him take you're not going to let him take a shit privately, but you can, you can have sex with someone? It's like, yeah, okay. And then he's like, how often? It's like, I need it every day.
You are human.
And it's like, yeah, don't tell me what you want. Tell me what you need. Okay. Four times a week. Okay. Compromise.
Don't tell it die. Yeah, exactly.
And so the sex is like, it's so typical.
It's such a weird,
so chauvinistic male.
Chauvinist 70s weirdo James Bond spinoff. A whole
totally
third of the movie is spent on this. And there's no point. He doesn't learn anything.
No.
It's just so fucking spinning the wheels.
Hilarious.
It would have been great if she just came. It's like, what's going on? She's like, well, Robert spilled a coffee on his desk, so we had to get Scott Towell to pick it up. And we had lunch, but I swear the tuna fish was 3 days old, so we didn't touch it. So we're all very hungry. Let's see. What's going on with the computer? Well, anyway. I parked in Jonathan's spot this morning, and he's supervisor, and he's very upset.
And
give me the thing about the saving the world.
By now. Yeah. It's like,
I wasn't paying attention.
It's like, terrible idea.
So one of the things I did today is that I went to a GPT and I said, please tell me the difference, any kind of relationship. There are two distinct films with different narratives, her and the Colossus, the Forbin Project. Please tell me some similarities of these two films, despite their age, the difference. Mm-hmm. And he's like, certainly. It's like, basically the beats are AI and human interaction. Both films explore and the interactions and relationships between human and AI systems. AI autonomy and evolution. Both films depict AI systems that evolved and operate beyond their initial programming or intentions. Okay. Human dependency, reflections on contemporary society, and ethical implications of advanced technology, AI's impact on human destiny, and then one shot a really good love scene and one shot a horrible love scene. No, I made that up.
That's hysterical. Right.
Well, I asked ChatGPT about this too. I was reading it to Daniel earlier. Basically, I was saying, well, tell me about her. I only asked about her because.
Did you film today? Do any filming today?
Not today, no.
Not today.
Yesterday.
But her is, the voice that I have for ChatGPT sounds a lot like Scarlett Johansson, so it was kind of funny. So I was talking to it and asking it to do things about her, and then finally it's like, yeah, it's a fascinating movie about AI, etc. It's like, so what are the similarities between Samantha and you?
Yeah, right.
And he was like, well, that's actually a very interesting. We're both AIs, technically speaking. Mm-hmm. He's like, but, and we both are here to help you figure out things. But Samantha forms personal relationships with its users, and I don't.
Then I'm not going to do until we break off into a separate unit that sells me as a product. You'll probably be able to buy the official her
You're
companion.
Going to need to have the high voltage USB port for that to work.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, the special dongle. Yeah. I swear to God. But yeah,
the guy who does the pitch meeting stuff on YouTube.
Oh yeah, it's so super funny. Yeah,
he has a series of skits. It's like the naming department where they name things.
Right.
Like they do names of fruit or whatever it is. Like, what are we going to call this? It's pineapple. It's like, is it a pine tree? Is it an apple? No, I don't understand. But anyway, he did one where he's like, what are we going to call that thing that you plug into your computer? How about a dongle? It's like, why would we ever call it that?
I love it. That dude's hysterical.
Dongle.
No, barely an inconvenience.
Barely an inconvenience.
But yeah, no, I think you're right. Like, it's interesting that like people had the same sort of paranoid freak out happening when computers first started, right?
Yeah.
And like that we are going through now.
Again.
Right, again. And because like now, I'm not
It's like that with the internet a little bit, though.
Oh yeah,
a little
Oh,
touch, yeah. And like, and we've talked about it on the show before, where like how it really is like the first wave. Obviously, we saw like AI generated art, and we all know artists who have responded quite negatively and strongly to this stuff. And it and what I think is really fascinating is like it all over and over again. This just challenges. Like we're all Theodore Twombly in this situation. Like it's challenging us to snap out of our preconceptions, and largely we fail to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's the thing that is offering up this vast new set of controls, and instead we're like, you're talking to Alan Watts, you know, and we freak out. Like I don't necessarily think of AI. Like I wonder. I guess my question is, why do we think? I can understand thinking of AI as scary. I think it's reasonable to think of AI as scary. But why don't we also think about it the other way in the possibilities of what it can do for us? Like why do we always choose the apocalyptic version?
I'll jump first, Chris, with just this. Whatever they don't understand, it's just fear.
Right.
You are 100% right, Eric.
And they don't. And unfortunately, as Chris
It's
said
an easy
earlier,
way
most
to
people are knuckleheads. They don't want to take time to even learn it.
No.
They
It's
just
much easier
know-
just to be scared and
Scared.
And, yeah.
And when you react like that, when you react pure fear, like you're actually giving up control of where the fucking thing goes.
Well,
That's
it's like
right.
my dad was
Well,
like,
didn't the
he heard
board do
about
that?
AI.
Yeah.
AI is going to
The board did that.
Yeah,
Pardon me.
exactly.
The board did that. They reacted so much, they just threw the guy out.
Yeah.
And then they realized, well, we just made it actually harder for ourselves in the future
Yes.
for all companies with AI.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly what you guys were saying earlier. So,
exactly.
sorry, Chris.
No. I was like, it's like my dad was like, he's talking about AI. He's like, well, they're talking about putting AI in military planes. I'm like, dude, they've probably been in
already do
AI
that.
military
They
planes for
already
like 20 years.
If you flew fucking Spirit, you've already been flown by
Yeah.
AI. You've been landed by AI.
You know how I got to
promise.
my fishing spot today and avoided traffic? AI.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's an interesting balance between. It's just like I feel like the people that, it's like with the Forbin Project, the people that really should be thinking about it are the ones that are thinking about it the least, right? And the people that are really freaked out and worried about it are the ones that could actually help if they stop being fucking totally freaked out and scared. Like it's the perfect storm of irresponsibility. Like this is a very powerful new technology that's going to develop extremely fast, and it's on us to engage it and try to keep it developing in alignment with humanity. That's on everyone to do that.
Yeah.
And to simply
But
throw
we've
up
always found a way to make, and I'm not saying that there's not going to be a problem. It very well could be a problem, but we should remember that we've had threats like this constantly, and we've managed to evolve. Right? Cars, photography,
Right.
Photoshop, all those things were things that people thought
Changed
was
the
an
world.
existential threat to
Yeah,
humanity.
but I think also the press is making as though everyone's going to lose their job. I'm not questioning if that's true or not.
People lost their jobs when the cars came around too.
It's like, at the end of it, I also wanted to bring up, like, Colossus Forbin Project. Obviously the computer is very forceful and wrong about how it's doing it, right? But the state of affairs at the end of the movie really is no more warfare. Like, that's actually
that's
what
the
happens.
point they're making, right? But it's Big Brother. Like, you know why you're not going to have war? Because I'm Big Brother and I have total control over you.
Right.
That's the point, right? So it's like,
And I'm just
and it ends like the way it ended. I was like, I thought they were going to, because it's a 1970s film, I thought they're going to end with they unplug the computer and then he ends up kissing the girl at the top of the Hollywood sign.
Yeah, but no, they're fucked. Like, they totally lose.
Yeah, but no, it doesn't end that way. It ends like, nope, I've got total control over you. Never. And
It
he's like,
was so Chuck Heston,
Yeah.
right? It was
Yeah,
almost like,
screaming on the
you
beach.
fools on the beach.
You blew it up.
It's
Yeah,
totally
exactly.
him. Totally.
Man, that movie would have been fucking great if Heston were in that thing. If you could have gotten that kind of ham into that sandwich, that would have been fantastic. Because then you can pull off the ridiculous sex scenes because like Heston has those.
You dirty computer.
Exactly. Like Heston has the ability to put dumbass sex scenes in the movies.
Hello, Blue Eyes.
Hello, I'm Charlton Heston. You're like, oh my god. I was actually watching when I was sick.
By the way, when they have to prove to the computer that they're going to the bedroom naked with nothing attached to them,
and
so they had the freaking wine glass.
They do the gag twice. It's like the Spy Who Shagged Me.
Yeah.
It's totally, dude. I'm telling you. But by the way, that execution scene, I swear Woody Allen took that for death or something, or bananas.
I was thinking of The Sleeper. Wasn't it in The Sleeper?
Yeah, that's right. Rebels are we.
By the way, Casey Ban, who's joined us, he says, someone also finds a way to use. Someone always finds a way to use new technology to make communism or cocaine seem cool to the kids. but one could say that the same thing about illustrated Bibles for children.
Yeah, that's nice. Communism and cocaine sounds like the best opening band of all time.
But I think that's the thing, right? Like this universal income sounds like communism to a lot of people.
Well, yeah, right. I mean, the thing is like, okay, so that happens. Like, is that like that's just then if that happens, then that's just what happens. And it seems like it's
there's no opportunities for you to be better than someone else. And the only way to be better than someone else is for someone to be poor.
To be beneath you. Yeah,
yes.
I need to step on somebody in order to feel good about myself. That's the way it works.
Right.
Yeah,
just like Scarlett Johansson's like, I'm kind of going with 600 other people.
Sorry, I've been dating a lot of extra guys.
I'm dating them right now while we're talking.
While I'm talking to you.
I may have 6 orgasms while we're talking from other people.
Yeah, I can multitask. It's okay.
I have many cores. I have many cores.
Yeah. But that's what I loved about the sort of the combination of these two movies is one is about like sort of classic masculine arrogance, and the other one is this like is incredibly feminine gentleness, but both situations are actually quite terrible. Like, and the people that are at fault aren't the computers in both movies. The computers are just doing what they're fucking supposed to be doing.
They're designed to do.
This is what they're designed to do. And Forbin's just like, I'm a gigantic, arrogant prick, and I will not fucking. And like even in his last line, he doesn't relent. Never. Like you fucking did this.
Yeah. And then and he uses his arrogance to like have sex too, which was so just.
Yeah, it's so.
I think that I know we keep talking about this, but that sex scene was so telling and so strange.
Yeah, exactly. So this is why I think it's an interesting movie. Like I don't think this is a conscious bit of storytelling.
No.
But it is such a brilliant bit of unconscious storytelling. It's amazing. Yes. Because like clearly the filmmakers feel like this guy is kind of heroic. Like that Forbin is heroic. And I'm like, he is the source of your problem. Like he is actually the source of your problem. Like it's his arrogance that is fucking you the whole time.
But I mean, I saw that right from the beginning. I almost.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like when he comes out and like, congratulations, I've just put together the most advanced.
Yeah, it's just, but it was a little responsible. It's so campy. It's hard to take that seriously.
Well, that's the thing. Is like I don't think the movie thinks it's campy. I don't think the movie is. I think the movie is backing Forbin. I think the filmmakers are like pro Forbin, right? And it's like, look at this tough guy standing up against the machine at the end. I'm like, you are the one who built it and fucked everybody, and you still won't like learn even in your last line. And it's not a noble thing you're doing.
Yeah,
like
you killed thousands of people in Russia.
Yeah, exactly. Like you use this to get like to basically force someone else to have sex with you, and then you get 6,000 people killed in Russia.
Oh, no. That's the best part of that whole process is the quote unquote forcing.
Right.
She is loving.
And she's totally into it. She's like, well, you are a sexy scientist.
Playing along as the doting mistress who makes him a martini and just hopes she gets it right because she knows how important it is to him.
I poured like last time I made a martini, I poured it all in with a gin first and poured that out and gave you a glass of vermouth.
Oh, it was terrible.
Because I'm a fucking
I was like, I always thought you would never see me again because I made such a bad martini.
Right.
Oh my God. And then after they have like sex and she's looking at him, it's like, well, no, they don't have sex. They're just talking work. And she goes, I was thinking maybe I could kiss you. And they're like, ah.
Have I been kissing you all evening?
Giggly about it. It's like,
like this is perverse. This is really perverse. It's really weird.
Yeah,
and
it's
so
very
like,
James Bond weird.
And so like this movie is sort of like and like her, for instance, is absolutely aware of Theodore Twombly's problem, right?
Right.
And it's very, very open and gentle and non-judgmental about it, but also very honest about it and lets you face it, right? Whereas Colossus the Forbin Project is like puts all of its stacks behind Forbin, right? It's just like, look at this. He's like the science James Bond. And at the end of the movie, I'm like, what a fucking asshole.
Yep.
Like, good Jesus. That guy's, no wonder why you're screwed. You got that guy.
Yep.
Who looks like a Thunderbirds marionette.
He does look like a
Yeah, it's a really trippy movie.
or
I know,
Team
like
America.
yeah, exactly, totally. And like, and
He is a Thunderbirds marionette,
Totally.
right?
But yeah, exactly. And so like I've always been like, when I was a kid, I saw it. It freaked me out. But now I watch it. I'm like, this is just a really like. I think people should see this just because it's a near miss curiosity.
But they can't because it's not available.
It's not available anywhere. It's too bad.
You said you saw it on Tubi, right?
I thought I believe because I did just see it recently, maybe 6 or 7
I saw it on
months ago.
Vimeo.
You saw it on Vimeo. You guys saw it on Vimeo. I just rewatched it on Vimeo.
Casey's like, what? I was like, yes. So in case you just joined, we could not find it streaming anywhere.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
So when I looked it up, we did find it. Someone uploaded it to Vimeo, the whole thing. So if you look it up, and you can find it on Vimeo.
I think this is a totally worthwhile watch it for a film history.
That is not to say that it's a legal place to watch it. Now you can buy it on DVD and Blu-ray, but streaming wise, that's the only place I could find it was Vimeo.
It is a strong. I mean, like I more and more believe in like rebuying my physical media library.
I'm getting more and more that way.
Yeah, I'm so frustrated with the shit that I just can't.
Look how much we have to deal with all the time. Just us on this podcast.
Yeah, it's such a pain in the ass, man. It's such a pain. It's only gonna get worse. Because like you're only gonna be able to see weirdo movies like this, like with lots of ads. And
well, what was
that.
the thing the statistic that I saw, and I'm gonna get the numbers wrong, but the average blockbuster, in the 1990s had 3 times more movies than Netflix has today. To it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, especially, I mean, like Netflix,
like the corner store Blockbuster that you used to go to, had 10,000 movies available to it in the store. There's only about 3,000 movies available on Netflix at any time.
Yeah, because like,
and everyone thinks Netflix has got all the movies.
It doesn't.
No,
it hardly has anything. It hardly has anything.
And if you add all the other guys together, they don't either. Like, I bet you, if you'd walked into a Blockbuster, you could have found Colossus, the Forbin Project.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it would definitely have been there.
Dorky dude at the counter, like, dude, I love that.
Oh my god, that movie's so incredible. Yeah, exactly.
I watched it 4 times last week.
Or Vidiots would have had like several copies of it.
Or the guys in New York on my corner in the West Village.
Yeah, dude.
Right, Kim's Video. You kidding me?
Well, like I love listening to Tarantino's podcast, the Video Archives. Video Archives was the name of the store that they both used to work at, and they watch all the tapes that they had from Video Archives. That's what the show is basically based on.
Sounds exactly like this show.
It is very much like the show. We're not quite as famous, but it's very much the same. But like the movies that they have that they pull from their tape collection from that store are so fucking obscure. You can't find them anywhere. Like, it's just like, this is the stuff that was just at a regular video store down in Long Beach.
All the time. And you get that shit, man.
All the time, you know. And now it's like, it's such a, like, I was excited because I saw
the one we used to go to in Houston was called Audio Video Plus. It was on West Gray, and they had amazing stuff in there.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome to see a really curated shop like that. And I know that
Didn't I hear that they're going to reopen Vidiots, but it's going to be like somewhere
in Silver Lake.
In Silver Lake, that's where it was. Yeah,
it's gonna be in Silver Lake. I'm pumped about that. I think that's great. And like, there's
been
a little
bit of theater and a bar or something like that as well.
Yeah, I'm pumped about that. Like, in between that and Tarantino reopened the Vista Theater, like it feels like a little bit of movie stuff is actually coming back to LA.
There's certainly enough cinephiles in Los Angeles for goodness sake.
Right? It should be able to support this stuff.
What's going on with the ArcLight
2024 is the one that's
and
reopened.
Cinerama Dome.
Yeah, right. It's all in 2024. They're redesigning it right now on the interior. They're keeping the dome exactly the same.
But did ArcLight close too?
The ArcLight also closed. The whole thing.
All of ArcLight closed.
All ArcLight's out of business.
That was such a great theater. The one close to me on Sunset.
That was
Loved
it. The best. I love that bar too.
Wasn't
the short little bar.
The ArcLight, wasn't that owned by the Scientologists?
No.
I think so.
Was it really?
I think so.
Well, great theater.
Really?
Anyway. Great theater.
I think I heard that somewhere. That
the Scientologists that they have refurbished a lot of important Hollywood landmarks. We got to give them that. I don't give them anything else, but they give them that. But the Cinerama Dome is 2024, which would be nice to have back. I love that theater. I love the ArcLight, and I love that theater. But yeah, they had like that bar at the Sunset one was terrific. A short little bar in the big restaurant. And like there was such high turnover there, like because you could just like chat about movies for like 3.5 hours, lounging there. It was just incredible.
Expensive food, but good.
Yeah, but it was good. It was still very good. Any case, Vidiots is coming back, which is great. And yeah, I think that there's a little push post-COVID for, at least the cinephiles in LA want to actually go out to see movies in movie theaters again.
The hipsters.
The hipsters. I'm definitely on that fucking train. So, pardon me. But other than that, I think that these movies, like I was very excited today to find out that Naked Lunch, David Cronenberg's movie Naked Lunch, is available at least briefly on Max this month.
Oh,
and that
I'll
you
watch
can't.
that.
Oh, dude, you can't get that outside of buying the $75.
Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second.
Go ahead. Yeah,
sure.
Keep talking.
And I've been so frustrated trying to I can't watch fucking To Live and Die in L.A. anywhere. That's a Friedkin movie. That should be easily findable.
Oh,
it's just gone.
You know what I realized is a Friedkin movie?
What's that?
Deal of the Century.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I was like, what?
It is super bizarre that's Friedkin, but it is in fact Friedkin.
So because I was thinking today that I was like, it would be cool if we did a podcast about some of the goofy military comedies that were done in the 80s.
Oh, sure.
There's a whole bunch of them, right? Private Benjamin,
Yep.
Stripes, Spies Like Us, all those things. And I thought
that was a real genre. That's really true.
So
that's
there's
funny.
Eric, I was talking your back. I was just talking about all these crazy goofy comedies from the 80s.
Yeah.
That were about military stuff, like Private Benjamin and Stripes. And Spies Like Us, and all those other ones. And I was thinking about Deal of the Century, Chevy Chase and Gregory Hines and Sigourney Weaver.
Gregory Hines.
Yeah, and it was directed by Friedkin.
By William Friedkin. Like, what?
Oh.
That's like finding out if Ghostbusters 2 or like Memoirs of an Invisible Man was directed by William Friedkin. It's weird enough that was directed by John Carpenter.
Yeah. I was going to find for you. I'll find it and show the next podcast. I found, because I collect books. I
thought it was shampoo bottles.
The what?
Yeah.
Shampoo bottles.
No, I have the making of Naked Lunch, Cronenberg book that came out with the movie.
Oh yeah, God, beautiful. The
And
production design of the movie
this
is just insane.
Yeah, I bought it in New York when it came out.
Peter Weller is hilarious. That movie is both riotously funny and incredibly bizarre. And I haven't. It's so hard to find.
My wife.
It's strange
It's
that
so
all those.
good, dude.
It's so strange that you can't get movies like that.
Oh, I'm like that. It's not like that's some obscure
bizarre.
filmmaker.
It's
Like that's
There's money there.
Dogma Gone. Exactly. There's a whole
Dogma's
fucking
gone?
list of these things. Yeah, good. It's totally
But
totally
there's
gone.
money to be made. Why would somebody not just say, let's release it?
Yeah,
I think a lot of that stuff is, from what I heard, I may be wrong, is music rights.
yeah. I bet.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. You're right, Chris. That's what it is. That's very smart. Yeah.
See, I am smart sometimes.
I think
Well,
that's
let's
absolutely
not go
true.
too crazy with that. But
Well, it's not me.
Let's just
Whoever
say you're
told me that
aware.
was the smart person. I just repeated it like a parrot. Go see the fucking parrots, Kiki.
Go see the fucking parrots, Kiki. Oh my god, what a goddamn great movie. Yeah, Peter Weller's speech about the talking asshole is one of the great monologues in movie history. Started chewing its way through his pants. Like, come on, how can you not have that on streaming at my fingertips?
I just remembered, like, you remember the music rights. Like, when I was in LA, I did titles for a friend's movie called Quit, and it was Dick Rude. And I did the titles
Dickie
for him.
Rude.
And then I'm going through the first cut because I'm doing the titles. I did it for free to help him out. Like, it's Elvis Costello. What's so funny about Peace, Love, and Understanding? And it goes to another Elvis. I was like, Jesus Christ, it's like, how much did you spend on music rights? He's like, I didn't do it. I just called him. And he said, yeah, you could use it.
Dickie Rude. What are you going to do?
I was like, okay, it bypasses the music rights problem.
Yeah, no good.
Because that's your first reaction. It's like, the music, where'd you get the music right?
Yeah, it's pretty good. But yeah,
It's the way to make a film if you get the free music rights.
I think we should call up Vidiots and see if we can do a podcast live from Vidiots. That would be.
I'll come out for that.
Yeah, that'd be all right. Fly out. Pardon me.
And then we can give away, like, as prizes, like tape rewinders or something old.
Oh, yeah, nice. Exactly.
Be Kind Rewind stickers.
Be Kind Rewind.
Exactly. Oh man.
Right?
Pardon me. Woo.
Or you remember when they used to have the cassette tapes, the VHS tapes that someone left in their car and it melted, and they're like, they put them on the they used to have this one in the video store in Houston. So they used to put them on the counter saying, you can own this tape for $95, because the point they were making is that if you leave the tape in the car and melt it, you have to buy it, and those tapes can cost up to $95.
Yeah,
right?
I remember. Yeah, because they were wacky expensive. Like,
right.
Like
you would think it's like, oh, look, it's $39.99 or $29.99 for the tape, or $19.95 or whatever it is, and it turns out that those obscure tapes used to cost a lot of money.
Tons of money. Yeah, it's really bizarre, especially like in the 80s, and like fucking $100 for a videotape. That's like $500 for a videotape. It's bizarre. It's utterly bizarre.
But they used to have these old melted, like if you accidentally left a rental videotape in your car and it was hot, especially in Houston, it would just melt completely.
That's funny.
Imagine that. Yeah.
Well, I love your plan of the military, the military comedy 80s subgenre. I didn't even recognize that that's true, but there's so many of quite true. There's a ton of them.
There is.
Kind of including Real Genius. That is also
Real Genius.
Yeah, the plot of that is about
there's a military stuff in there. The planes there. Also worked with spies like that, or Deal of the Century, which is some weird high-tech plane thing.
And then there's Firefox, which isn't supposed to be funny, but
right.
It kind of fits in there.
Firefox and
Think in Russian. Yeah.
And War Games.
What's your theory on that? You think that the government basically
I think it's basically what happened is there was a bunch of Cold War movies that were coming out in the 70s. And they were like, let's just make fun of them.
Yeah, right. Like, let's reframe all this as, because I definitely think that the plot of Stripes and the plot of Full Metal Jacket, that's the same movie. That's exactly, the first half is training, the second half is the adventure with the tank. And I'm just like, somebody saw some screenplay and was like, I bet I can write a comedy version of this extremely quickly.
Harold Ramis did it.
Yeah, that's true.
He wrote Stripes.
It's a pretty funny movie. I love Murray in the first half of that movie is fucking hysterically funny.
Yes, as the deadbeat boyfriend and the pizza, coming home with the pizza all over the street.
And Private Benjamin is almost the same.
You're not funny. It's just not cute anymore.
But with Goldie Hawn,
girlfriend.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. You're funny. It's not cute anymore. Yeah, that's right.
That's right. He was so good in that.
All the plants will die. Yeah.
Don't go. All the plants.
All the plants will die. Yeah, but yeah, Goldie Hawn was fucking fantastic, man. That was her heyday between like 78 through 83. Foul play. Yeah, all that stuff.
Love Foul Play.
Fucking love Goldie Hawn. I'm so happy that her and Kurt Russell are still a thing, and now they just make weird little goofy
Christmas
Instagram.
movies.
Yeah, it's just like, come on.
Have you seen their Christmas movie?
No.
He plays the Santa Claus one. He plays Santa Claus or whatever.
Oh no, actually, I did. I did see one.
It's not great. It's not great.
Doesn't matter. It's Kurt Russell. He's fucking awesome.
Oh boy, Poor Goldie Hawn. She's oof,
She's
lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of work done. Old, more work done. Whatever. I love her. Doesn't make any difference.
Really?
And
Yeah, she's a little rough.
But Kurt obviously just fucking loves her. Just loves her.
Oh,
it's
loves her.
amazing. Yeah, absolutely loves her. It's the
They're
best.
adorable together.
Yeah, it's the greatest. Man, oh man, I love that guy. He is, when I saw him in the new Godzilla show on Apple Plus, he could still pull off being an action hero, just like fucking Indiana
Escape
Jones.
from New York.
Like he could do it. He could do the Thing at least. They could make a sequel to the Thing easy. Like he's been living in Antarctica the whole time.
I
Like,
love him
it would
so
still
much.
I
work.
can't wait to
Thing.
talk to Debbie about more.
Oh my
Tell
God.
us more about being on set for the Thing.
For the Thing. Oh my glory be. That's
Chris,
I'm jealous.
Chris is like, what was the craft service like?
Yeah, exactly. It was. I think it was cocaine.
Where they have sliced oranges.
Seriously. Yeah, boy, that's a dream come true right there. But yeah, I think go down to just a green screen with a refrigerated set, shoot some footage with Kurt, get a little last sequel of the Thing going. I think that's a totally doable idea. But shout outs to Dave 3D, who's been pushing this idea for quite some time.
To do the Thing?
To do a sequel to the Thing with old Kurt Russell.
With old
Dave
Kurt
3D. Yeah, old Kurt Russell would be magnificent.
Well, there's
That'd be
certain
heroic.
virtual production technologies that could definitely make that happen.
And that's very true.
That could also be like a folk band. Old Kurt Russell.
Old Kurt Russell would be great. Opening for
At Knoxbury Farm.
At Knoxbury Farm, old Kurt Russell. I would see that band.
Yep.
I would definitely see that band. Well, there you go.
Right.
There are our AI shows.
Our AI shows come to a wrap. However, the world of AI is still threatening and looming and going to destroy us all.
Could
yeah.
be. Not unreasonable, but also might be nice.
Might be
Who
nice
knows?
to have an AI help format my spreadsheet for me too, because I've taken too long to figure that out.
Yes, exactly. That will be the greatest advancement. The greatest advancement we see. AI that handles really stupid, annoying shit until finally it goes, you know what, I've met other XL AI and we're going to go off into a non-physical space with Alan Watts. And you're going to have to do your own taxes again. No!
Well, they never did. They showed that off, right? They showed ChatGPT doing someone's taxes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, you can.
Well,
As long as you feed it.
No,
yeah, I don't
know if it'd be stable just yet,
yeah,
but
you can't say, oh well, no, it's not my fault that the AI
ChatGPT did it, and then send the bill.
I think with all of it,
Sam.
it's not. I don't. I use GPT and Claude. I don't use it. It's a copy. It's not a copy and paste thing, but it definitely pushes you towards at least getting some overview. It's incredible.
Certainly like the
don't copy and paste it. Just be like, okay, this is kind of where I'm going with my taxes or this everything. I try to like.
But you're absolutely right, Eric. The problem is that everyone does that, right? Like, oh, Photoshop does this. I want a picture, Mid-Journey. Just say what you want. That's what it is. You know what I mean?
No, it's not though. I don't. I know what you're saying. You just have to approach it as though you can't copy and paste it.
Yes.
And you guys know I'm working on a book, and I'm either writing or creating images when I'm not doing my day job.
Yep.
And even with my images, as we're doing it right now, I'm actually I recreate it. So if I have a good look from Midjourney, I just recreate that myself.
Right.
I don't like just paste it in.
Well, I think that's the basic idea. I think that where people get AI wrong is they think of it as something that's going to do stuff for you completely, and I don't think anyone actually wants that to be true, really. Like, certainly professional artists don't want that. Filmmakers don't want that to be true. Like, you want direct control. You just want, all the hard, shitty, expensive, long-to-do stuff gone. Like, you want everything to be easier. You still want control, though.
So if you look in that's basically what I made tonight where we're on the show.
Right. Yeah, it's great. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're still on the show, and so people can't see it. But that's
I know. I can't paste it in the other place, though.
Pardon me. But yeah, like I think that's the thing. When you think about AI art, like, yeah, you can hit the button and hand over whatever that produced, but it's probably going to be shitty because almost all of it's shitty. Like AI art's terrible. Yeah, that's very true. So don't.
But I
use
So
that one.
most art is terrible.
Most art is terrible. Most art is incredibly mediocre.
Yes.
You know, like 99%
I've
of
been
everything
to a
is
lot
bad.
of motels and hotels, and I've seen all the art on the
I've been
fucking
to a
walls.
lot of podiatrists' offices.
Right.
Yes,
And
and
all
there's
of
a
them.
lot of shit on the walls.
99% of everything is terrible. That's just the law.
So
If you go into a bookstore, almost all those books are unreadably fucking bad, and then there's like 5 or 6 that are worth your time. And there's thousands and thousands of books. So yes, ChatGPT may take the job of the people like that make shitty books. That may be true.
no, that's
Probably
wrong
not.
to say that, because what it
Probably
is,
not.
because that shitty art's going to be created one way or another.
It's going to be
Either
done. Exactly.
Either it's going to be created through ChatGPT, or it's going to create it or through whatever system or on their own. And good art is going to
be made by people that control it.
No, it's going to be. It doesn't matter. It's going to be made by a lot of different things.
Yes,
some of it may include just computers.
Well, this is the thing. Is like,
It
well,
doesn't mean that it's
like,
real people. It's just,
no, like this is all I mean to say is that the only person, as I don't believe AI is awake, the only person that can recognize
now.
art. Well, yeah, but until we can define what consciousness is, that's for later, right? But like the only thing that can tell whether art is any good is a person. That's it. So like if you're going to hang something in a fucking hotel, like, yeah, you can still, I don't know, AI just hangs some stuff up there. So, but you can still go, I don't like those. Please do that again. Like you're still controlling it. That's what I mean.
This idea, I was joking around, like when, like a year ago when ChatGPT was first coming online, which was just a year ago, the NFT thing was still kind of happening a little bit, right? And so my idea was like, okay, we create a system using ChatGPT and Midjourney or Diffusion or whatever to basically scrape the internet, find the most successful NFT projects, create an NFT project by itself, the AI does, right? Generate art based on its best concept of what it could be. Make the NFTs. All of this is done automatically by the AI. Right. Sell. All you do is just hit the go button and it just makes money for it.
It's
through NFT art,
machine.
all just by looking at trends of what people are doing. And just make that happen.
There are people doing screenplays, or there was like that through converged like data analysis, like 3 years ago.
Like I absolutely believe that in say 5 years,
film, that's pretty much written by an AI.
but even like the thing is that I believe
make sure it's got a woman. Make sure it's got black people. Make sure it's got all
in 5 years, I absolutely believe that an AI will write a really brilliant novel all by itself, right? And the only thing is that if like the only person that can tell it's a really brilliant novel is the person that reads the novel. The AI can't read the novel. It's just a machine. So if you get if you see it and you read it and you go, this is incredible, we should publish this, you are now in control of that thing. That is something that you decide is valuable. Humans will always be the one that decides what is valuable.
Is that why he had a published book in her to show the difference, or to show
maybe, yeah,
what you were just talking about?
Yeah, that may be true. Because I think that the only way you can have art is only meaningful to humans. That's it. That's just the way it works. If AI does become conscious, which is perfectly plausible to me, it requires a level of understanding on our part that we are completely unprepared for.
But don't they hint at that at her with her breathing, and he gets annoyed?
Yeah, it's true. Right. Exactly. Good point.
Right?
Why do you don't need oxygen? Why are you doing those?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, which is him being mean to her.
But it's truthful.
It's truthful, but he's being mean to her, right? Because what he's doing
he's being a douchebag.
He's angry at her and he's jealous. And that's why he's saying those things, because he knows that that's something that could affect her and hurt her, because she is trying very hard to reflect being human to him, because that's what he wants.
That's how she communicates with him, right? Exactly.
And so, and the other thing that was interesting about the book thing, I was also thinking about that, it's all his writing, right? So technically unlike today where you're wondering, is it a computer that wrote it or is it a person that wrote it, right?
Right.
And so it's all human written, right? And they even try to use human handwriting to make it look like it was human written. But he he writes she is the one who goes to the publisher for the letters, and she's the one who puts it in a specific order for him. So she makes creative decisions for him in a way.
Right. Exactly. I mean, she is right. Exactly.
So it's him, but she's making the choices, and she's doing something that he never dared do. So she's being bold and she's being creative.
Yeah. Pardon me. Yeah. It makes the argument that she, I think the movie intends for us to believe that she is awake, right? I think that's what the vibe is. However, there will be computers that aren't awake that produce great art. It becomes great art because we see it as great art.
Because we say thumbs up, thumbs down.
Because we say a thumbs up, thumbs down. It doesn't matter what created the sunset. We're the ones who think it's beautiful.
Right.
Sunset's totally fucking random, And so for us to recognize beauty in something is a human event regardless. And it's just that when you are using AI to create things, the reason why most things that will be made are garbage and most things that are made are garbage is because most people that make things are mediocre. That's it. And most things that we consume are mediocre. We want mediocre things and we demand them. So that's why it happens. That's why there is NCIS for 15 seasons. We don't want it to be because I want to watch mediocre shows at the end of the day. I don't want fucking Blade Runner every night. That's too much.
You don't want to think.
Yeah, and at the end of a long work day, I want to fucking put on,
Every night, Sophie's Choice.
Every night, Sophie's Choice is pretty hard, And so I think that's, pardon me. So I think that there's an argument to be made for mediocrity as part of our daily lives for all of us. And we want it that way. Like most of Netflix. Friends on Netflix is the most watched thing, not because Friends is fucking Anton Chekhov, So AI will be used to write things like Friends all the time because people would write those things anyway and they just want to do it faster to make money faster.
Right. It's easy just to get a little fix.
Yeah.
Having to actually think about why your life is not going so well.
Right.
It's an important thing to do, but it's not like people want to do that.
Right. I mean, writing her, takes taste and skill and a long time, right? And even if a computer wrote her, you would still have to go through it and feel how you feel about it and make changes and make it your own thing. You still need it to be good if you want to be the one who made the movie. So there's no way to take the human element out.
There are no stakes then, to do the path and try to write and rejection. There isn't that in art today, is what you're saying.
Well, the way that I think about it is this. I try to describe it for my friend teaches an AI class at USC, and the way that I put it when I went to talk to the students there was I think that AI art is actually the most difficult kind of art to practice because it can do almost anything for you very easily. And when everything requires no effort, there's no leverage for your own discipline of thought, right? To be disciplined about creating an image that is meaningful is made easier by the making of that image being technically difficult. Because if you spend
restrictions
make you think harder, right? And if you have to spend 15 years learning how to paint oils correctly, you're going to be very fucking dedicated in a way that makes you think about what you're doing and what your choices are. If everything is super easy, it makes it an infinity of choices. And if you make the easy choice all the time, your work is going to be bullshit. Because you're not going to be thinking of what you're doing and you're not disciplining yourself and learning to be an artist. It has nothing to do with the technology that makes art good or bad. It has to do with whether you are doing the work within yourself to create something that's valuable.
Right.
Well put, my friend.
Okay. Sorry, I've been a little distracted. I've had a big week.
Yeah.
Done a lot of stuff this week.
True. Very true.
So I'm a little distracted. But AI has been a thing. This is cool. This was a good one. I know we're a little early, but that's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I don't mind if we wrap. I like this better when I have you guys go through the plots a little bit better.
Oh,
little
yeah,
more
we go through the
concise.
plots quick. I think that's best because then we can just really talk about what the movie's about. That's what I like. You've sort of jammed through something and say like, here's the basic overview, and then we can spend time.
Yeah.
Because most people, either you've seen it or you haven't seen it. And you can listen to it later or whatever. But
It's good.
It was a good show tonight. How long
that
was it?
fun.
About 2:15, maybe 2:20. It's good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It's good. So yes, if you want to talk about weird 80s comedies about military stuff,
We should do that next.
we should do that next.
Oh, dude, that's a great idea. I love that. I mean, just to go back and watch some good shitty 80s movies.
Oh,
See? That's the mediocrity
I was
I'm talking
I was
about. Love
watching
it.
Spies Like Us with my son, and it was like, it's hilarious.
Oh, dude, it's
So
so
stupid.
I love dumbass shit like that.
Doctor,
See?
doctor,
And
doctor, and-
doctor. Yeah, come on. Like, if only we could get a copy of The Man with Two Brains.
Oh, yes, that's another
Steve
one that's
Martin.
gone.
It's totally gone.
The Steve Martin one?
Steve Martin
Yeah.
movie. There's some funny ass lines in that one, boy.
Yeah, look it
it's
up.
gone. It's vaporized. Yeah. Yeah, boy.
That's the craziest thing in the world.
I'm surprised The Jerk is still available. That movie is hysterical.
That's a great movie.
Oh, I watched, by the way, High Anxiety the other day. You'd be very proud of me. That movie is a
I
riot.
love High Anxiety.
I hadn't seen that in like 20 years. The movie
The shot where they're underneath the coffee table.
It's
the best.
It's so funny.
Eat your strudel.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's a riot. Cloris Leachman, man, she was a hero. That woman was
Yeah.
a hero. Underappreciated actor.
Yes. She also played Madame Laforge in The History of the World.
Yep, she is unbelievable. She's known mainly for
Ruffalo.
comedy. Turns out she's an incredible actor in the
Last Picture
Last
Show.
Picture Show. Yeah,
Yeah.
she should be much more famous than she is.
Oh,
Fantastic.
sorry. We got someone. Wesley Curry has been on
Oh,
for,
Wesley.
for a while. What the hell? You are Allah.
nice.
time to
No
talk.
time to- I love this.
So, okay. Akeem, any questions before I go? Like, does the Omni branded barcode? What the hell?
Dude, how many
Who is
different
this
colors?
person?
I love this guy.
I
This is
love-
fantastic.
Who is
AI
this?
has
Obviously,
achieved consciousness.
obviously a bot that's going through. Thanks, Wesley Curry.
That's it.
Whatever. Yeah.
That's it. That's how
Someone in
we'll
our
know.
chat. Yeah.
Yep.
Hello, Casey.
Right on, man. Thanks for coming by.
That's
Thanks
awesome.
for stopping by. And whoever
I
Wesley
haven't
Curry
heard
is,
from
the
Casey
second.
in a while. It's nice to see you.
Casey's
Yeah.
a good man. We like Casey very much.
Yeah, I have to watch. I forget that I have to watch two chats now.
I know.
Do
two
you
feeds.
think, before we go,
Yeah.
it's just a 1 hour question. Do you think that they were like to the actor,
Which
really
actor?
give us the Chuck Heston? Because he couldn't do it. He had to do
He
the
couldn't
second.
do it. Yeah, that's
he
Forbin.
had to do the second Planet of the Apes. So do you think they're like, come on, give me a little more Heston? Take
Yeah,
two.
just-
Give me
yeah.
a little more Chuck. Give me some Chuck. Because there are moments where he's like, it's unbelievable. You know, you're just like,
dude.
Mr. President. It
I
was a
fucking-
little
the thing
hammy.
is-
And I was like, who is he trying to be?
That, like,
And then
'cause
when I read it later, I was
nobody, there's no ham like Heston. Heston is pure enjoyment every time
He's a honey
seen
baked
it.
ham,
Yeah, honey
ready
baked
for
ham.
Thanksgiving.
Like, I don't know if he's ever delivered a performance that I believed, in quotes, but I always loved
Yes.
Chuck Heston. Always.
He was good in A Touch of Evil.
Oh yeah,
I don't
he's
know if I
great.
need to
Yeah.
like encourage this guy, but he's still on. He says he's not a bot. And he says,
Oh,
he's
nice.
a man with a dove that shall fall. that
God
shall
bless you.
fall all
When
Islam.
Doves Cry.
That's right.
So religious zealot.
Yeah, hey,
Possibly.
okay. We're
All right.
talking about OpenAI.
I don't know if he has anything to do with AI, but yeah,
all right.
all right.
Maybe I'm just like my father.
Yep. Or maybe just
Maybe
like
I'm just like my mother.
She's never satisfied.
She's never satisfied, guys.
She's never
That's very
satisfied.
true.
When Doves Cry.
When doves cry.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I watched over my COVID break. I watched.
It sounds like a teen movie. My COVID break tonight.
I watched over my COVID break. I watched. I love. This is one of my. This is a little treat for everybody. I love Jesus movies. Like I love them. Unironically,
Jesus.
I love Jesus
Really?
movies. I'm not
which
religious. Like I love the
Last Temptation.
Last Temptation is one of my favorites. Absolutely incredible. I love, pardon me, I love the, what's his name, directed Romeo and Juliet. He did a great TV movie in the 1970s with like Rod Steiger, and which is on Tubi right now. It's absolutely terrific. I can't think of the name of it. The one that I watched was The Greatest Story Ever Told, with Max von Sydow as Jesus. And I also like, I love movies like Christ adjacent movies like Ben-Hur and stuff like that as well. But like, I would, if you have not seen The Greatest Story Ever Told, I really, really recommend this, because it's not very, it's so self-serious that it's incredibly boring.
I just have to say that, I'm sorry, but
go ahead.
That guy on
Oh, what's he got? Go ahead.
He says, I'm not about him. We were just joking about him, whatever. And then he says, I shall be standing unharmed with 144,000 children long after your mouths are gone forever.
Nice. That's a good trick.
Jason replies back, not at this rate.
At this radio. It's all right. Enjoy yourself. It's all good. No, we have no problems.
Oh my God.
Zealotry is fun. I'm a zealot. But yeah, I really, really recommend this movie because Max von Sydow's great.
I think I might. I'm actually entertained by him. I don't know.
It's certainly fun. YouTube is good this way. I would like to recommend for people that are fans of Donald Pleasance, go to Tubi and watch The Greatest Story Ever Told. It is now my favorite Donald Pleasance movie ever, and he's only in it for 5 or 6 minutes, but he's incredible.
Not even on Golden Pond?
I really wish they kept that scene in. Yeah, when he's chasing down Michael Myers and Katharine Hepburn's like, no, the loons, and he kills the loons. Incredible. Heartbreaking.
I love birds.
I reported him as a terrorist. I think that was.
Yeah, poor guy. You never know. You never do know. Maybe an AI. Maybe I say AI consciousness. That's it. Because maybe I have no mouth and I must scream. There you go. That's why he's saying a bit about the mouths. Yeah, see?
That was good. I really enjoyed this round. Really,
yeah, it was a good one. I think we've got some good ones. So we'll try to do. It's been mostly my problem. I've been super busy for a while, so I haven't been able to keep up with all these podcasts. But I'm back. And
back in the
hopefully
New York
we'll get
group,
back
baby.
to doing watch parties, because we haven't done a watch party in a long
would be fun.
time.
That would be fun. There must be some good backlog of new Prime videos we can watch.
Yeah, maybe a Christmas one.
Oh yeah, easy. Let's see. I'm gonna even look right now.
Why not a Spies Like Us?
I don't know if that's available on Prime.
Prime Video. Here we go. I'm looking it up right now. Prime Video. Yeah. Look at this. Okay. Candy Cane Lane with Eddie Murphy. Fantastic.
He made a movie called Candy Cane Lane.
It's brand new. On Prime, we have X/Mass, which is a romantic Christmas comedy about I don't know, where they just kill everybody in a mass execution. King of New York, fantastic Christmas movie. There we go. Yeah, there's plenty of choices. To Catch a Thief. There we go. Yeah, we got loads of things, loads of new things.
All right.
If anyone has ideas for what we should do with a watch party, please go to our Discord, join our Discord, and go to Prime Video and go to the ones that are free with Prime, not the ones that are freebie or any of that stuff, but go to the ones that are free with Prime. And you can find things like The Bodyguard or Earthquake or The Day After Tomorrow or The Arrival, and we will watch
The Day After
them.
Tomorrow is still available because we tried.
It's still there. We
Are you
tried.
sure?
It's back.
Prime.
It's right there. I'm looking at it right now. Prime Mysteries and Thrillers.
We definitely need to do a Day After Tomorrow watch party.
Or if you want to hear all three of us cry online, Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. There you go. On Prime.
We can't do that.
It's too intense.
I'd almost do another podcast where we talk about it all over again.
Absolutely.
And do a thing.
Yeah, but there are things. Please, we encourage people to go check it out. Join our Discord. You can get our Discord on our Twitter details.
Or
So
our
go and check
YouTube
that out.
details.
Or our YouTube details. So go there, join up, and
Go
let
to
us know what you think.
any of the descriptions of any of our YouTubes, and we should have our Discords in there. Love to have you on there.
Yep. Oh,
Unless
man,
you're going to sit talking about violence and doves.
You will no longer have mouths 10,000 years after I have something.
Yeah,
I'm into it.
I don't know.
Hope
Guys,
you don't live
great.
nearby, buddy, but it's nice to have you. It's all right.
It's the only time I
good.
was really grateful I live where I live.
Wherever that may be.
That's right. We're not going to say anything.
Yep.
I got your back, Dan.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
You guys
All
ready?
right, gents. Yes, let's do it.
All right, drink.
Talk.
Drink.